I mean, math is not hard. Yeah, sure, you can talk about it. Okay, I'm
This is working. All you got to do is just make sure that these buttons stay red, and if they turn green, come get me.
Wait, which buttons?
These buttons right here.
Okay.
And whenever somebody talks, try and turn the camera. For example, me.
And on standing votes too, like if they say everyone stand up or like only by the question, people start saying and stuff, it's good to get a panorama.
Yeah, behind. Just pretend like you're the cameraman for like this is like the greatest movie ever.
Yeah, that's the reality of the situation.
How are you?
So apparently some people are planning on shaping this with the student fee committee.
Not that I roll with it. Not that I'm surprised.
Okay, so yeah, like they're mad because we picked Brian Fallon and Tyler Moorman instead of choosing black people. So would you be willing to speak in favor of that because we all have to leave the room?
Oh, yeah.
Of confirming the claim.
Sure. Wait, confirm.
Okay, so we'll have.
Explain the situation because I'm not paying attention.
Basically, in the meeting, we'll have student fee committee nominations for confirmation, and there are some people who don't like that because certain people didn't get on the committee. And
tell me how you really feel, Scott.
Yeah. But apparently, this one's actually contentious. So. Because they think we don't have enough diversity of thought.
Okay, so who chose it?
Thomas Lee.
Okay.
Who chairs the committee? He's already been confirmed.
Okay.
And that was approved by us.
Okay, so okay. Well, obviously I will because I like at least two of the people that are on it. So I don't know who the rest of them are, or I do, and I wasn't paying attention to the names. But
awesome, thanks.
Yeah.
And then also Leggett Hallbill.
I am an author, sponsor.
Yeah, I'm in favor of that.
Considering it was passed last year in RHA when I was president, I feel like I don't have a choice.
Yeah, I mean you technically do, but
yeah.
you pretty
well,
much
and
have
then
to.
I think they're gonna try and repass it next meeting. But I can even stand up and be like, hey, look, by the way, was already passed by RETA last year, so.
Are we gonna be sitting?
Oh yeah, you'll be. I'm sorry. I'm just taking
it.
So make sure.
Come take Matt's chair. He's not here.
These are both red.
Yeah, if they ever turn green, let Cody know. Also, what is it?
Hunter. Yeah. I think he's got. So is it already recording? I need to press anything?
Yes, it is recording right now.
Scott. Yes. It's recording.
Yeah.
We just had a conversation.
I don't think the microphone is here. If it is.
Chair Barber, Chair Niedegger, Chair McNutt,
Howdy.
Chair Harris,
Howdy.
Calvin,
Howdy.
Golden, Thornburg, Mellenheim, Masavica,
Oh, sorry.
Gonzalez,
No, it's not you. I'm like.
Robertson, S. Brown, Heaver, Strickland, Young, Sinclair, Bowen, Spencer, Canoe, Bandry, Tyler, Simon, Chen, Hutchison, Casada, Pittman, Melendez, Chips, Moore Van Dyke, Nelson, Altendorf, Nadinger,
Howdy.
Kingsbury, Jessup, King, Morris, Kelly, Fernandez, Sosa, Berry, Fernandez, Mahutke, Struble, Markowski, Bonner, T. Brown, Casaleja, Syrie, Esparza, Gore, Keith, Hilton, Fletchley, Masood, Lawson, Luke, Murad, Davis, Robert, Shutt, Hill, L. Sullivan, R. Sullivan, Van Dyne, Barisco, Womack, Penniman.
Thank you. With that, Senator Jessup will lead us in the education pledges.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
If you would, please bow your heads. Father, thank you so much for this opportunity, just to be here today with these great individuals, with these great students. Would you just remind us that we're here to serve? Tonight is all about service. It's all about the students. Would you put our pride behind us and just help us to see clearly and think clearly? And thank you for modeling service for us, that you came down as a servant so that we could be here today and represent the student body. And we just thank you for all that you've done. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you. With that, let's figure out a way for you to do the mission statement for our values.
The Texas A&M Student Senate Mission Statement. The Texas A&M University Student Senate represents all students in order to enhance the Texas A&M experience within our university and communities through research, legislation, and advocacy in accordance with the core values of our institution, which
Everyone. Okay, we're thinking about making 2 colors.
One is going to be a bright tangerine color.
Not burnt orange. No.
Orange and tangerine are different.
No, they're not.
They are. And then your other option, if you're very adamant about the orange, is kind of a grayish navy. So it's a little more, not as bright and wild. You want to go that route.
Right. So if we order 93 or more, so if your senators want to order 2 both colors, then they're going to be less expensive. That's the cutoff for the lower price. So yeah, I'm meeting tomorrow with CC Creation. We're going to get the design. I'll email that out to Tanner, and then also the price. You can pay online through credit cards. So it's easy. So be looking for that in a week. Thanks and gig 'em.
Gig 'em.
All right, that was all I was made aware of for open forum. So with that, we'll go into organizational forum, and these organizations get 5 minutes starting at county. So first up, we have the Leggett Hall Council.
Howdy.
Howdy.
We as Leggett Hall would just like to convey our support for the Leggett Basement Bill. It will allow Leggett Hall to have the access to the basement back. It will put approximately 50 more students in the basement and in residence halls. The basement is handicap accessible, and there's a large recreation room that would be beneficial to Leggett Hall residents and other residents as programs and events can be held there. There are approximately still 60 women left in overflow housing, and if Leggett Basement was being utilized for residents, then that could be greatly diminished. As you know, like three Northside dorms have been torn down, and Briggs is no longer under residence hall control, so that has reduced the number of residents that can live on campus. We would like to marginally raise that a little bit with the basement bill. Who is in the basement right now is Women's Studies, but the local arts building is being constructed, and which would free up space in other buildings where they're putting the people that are going into local arts new building. So Women's Studies could be relocated there. We would just like to convey our absolute support for this bill. Thanks and gig 'em.
There you go.
All right, thank you. With that, we have the traveling committee. Senator Sullivan, you have 5 minutes starting now.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
Okay, so I'm so sorry we changed the Baylor date so many times. I know Thursdays are hard for everyone to go to. So we are now going to Baylor on Thursday the 27th. I know it's still Thursday, but that's when they're sending it. And we're going to be leaving about approximately 3:15, 3:30 because our meeting starts at 5. And I know you don't have class until about 3 on Thursdays. And we'll be getting back here around 9. They said they expect the meeting to finish by 7 at the latest. So that's like a 2-hour meeting, which is like really short. And then we have the option of going to dinner with them. We've been invited. So I would love it for as many senators to come as possible. Right now, there's just a couple people that I've texted or emailed me about it. So if you would like to go, not like tomorrow, but the next Thursday to Baylor, please message me or send me a text during the Senate meeting. So that way I can go ahead and get the form tonight for Sarah. And I think that's it. If anyone has any questions. And this is our last trip of the semester. I know we're looking into having schools come here later in the semester, but this is the last time we're going to be leaving. But we are looking to do more trips in the spring.
Hi, Mark Womack off campus. I know the traveling committee had to move the trip. Has Kenneth Starr threatened any legal action against the traveling?
So far, so good. There has been no legal action against the Texas A&M Senate student traveling committee as far as we are aware.
Joe here. I was just wondering, what schools are thinking about coming here?
Tyler Community College has been in contact with us, and LSU is talking about coming here. So
Kayla, you want to pull that up? Or so I guess y'all haven't seen this yet. Unnamed residence hall is what's going up on the north side. You probably seen all the construction, all the demolition, the 3 buildings that went down, and the current construction site. So that's what will eventually be there. Also, in going on in Res Life / RHA, currently is the Commons feasibility project. I know some of you may have heard of that, some of you haven't. They are looking at renovating the Commons building, not the actual residence office, but the actual main building. So that is something that they are looking into. They have done a study to see how best can do that, and the final results of that study should be coming out next month. Also, we have our 2011 diversities that are going to be coming out on November 9th. And that's them right there. That's what they'll look like this year. Y'all are actually some of the first people to see this design. So there you go. If you are in Academic Plaza on November 9th, make sure to get one because they look great. And last but not least, we are sending the first of our joint SGA-RHA legislative initiative through tonight. So I hope to get your votes and pass it because that'd be nice. Other than that, I think I'm done here.
I guess we got some questions.
Okay.
Can we do that?
I just want to know how much is that going to cost?
80 something. I don't have the exact numbers, so I don't want to speak definitively, but it's up there. It's pricey. It will be like Silver Star certified for LEED too. For Silver Star certified from LEED for sustainability. There we go. That's what I meant. So we will have that.
Okay, we got a couple more, so I'll get to everybody. Lindsay first.
Senator Sullivan off campus.
Sorry.
Senator L. Sullivan off campus. So north side's getting new dorms, and the Corliss dorm is getting renovated. Is south side or the Commons going to get like renovated new dorms?
Well, I mean, not currently, and that's partially because the last new hall built on campus was in '89 on the south side. So those are actually the new, right now, those are the newest residence halls on campus. So we thought it was time to spread the wealth on that.
Sir Womack.
Hi, Mark Womack, campus. Thank you for coming real quick. I know you said the dorm is unnamed. Have there been any talks about what they're likely to name it, or is there going to be shortlist created? McDonald.
I would love that. Currently, I haven't heard anything, but I do want to start working with them to see how we can get student input in there and see how we can best get that naming process done, so we can have a good name with everybody.
Hey, Chair Barber.
Yeah, Drew Barber, the CR chair. Womack stole my question, but I was just wondering where I would put in my bid if I wanted to have it named after myself.
The Board of Regents.
You should sign your name on a piece of paper with a lot of money attached to it.
Exactly.
Chair, withdrawn. Was there one more question? I feel like I missed somebody. Any more questions? Okay. See you in a moment.
Thank you very much.
Up next we have the Kappa Sigma fraternity. That's Senator T. Brown. 5 minutes starting now. Senate, please keep it under control tonight.
Wicked Woods, maybe you've heard of it. If you listen to Candy 95, we've got little commercials playing. There's some billboards by like Texas and Villa Maria places. You were doing excellent. Thank you. Basically, what Wicked Woods is, you have your stereotypical haunted house. It's sort of scary at. Here we have 4 acres of haunted wood. You go through a dark trail, as if that's not scary enough. You have Dry Guys scaring you. But anyway, what is it benefiting? We're benefiting our Military Heroes campaign. Up in Killeen, there's that place there, there's the Fisher House. It's a house that where injured soldiers' families get to stay for free to visit their wounded loved ones. And I know we all support our troops, so you know it's a good cause. Ticket sales. Basically, we run tomorrow through Saturday for the first week. It only costs $8, but if you bring 2 canned goods, if you take off $2 off the ticket price. All canned goods go to the Brazos County Food Bank. So I know we don't like world hunger, right? So support our troops and world hunger. And we run next week, the 27th through the 31st. Ticket prices are going to be $10, $8 if you bring 2 canned goods. Now, Wicked Woods is a great place. You know, if you hit up Northgate, you've had a few drinks, like what are you in the mood for? A haunted house. You know? Hey, you've got a date. You want to get some hand-holding action. Where do you go? A haunted house. I mean, Barbara loves hand-holding action. I know, but I mean, if you're the kind of guy that's kind of jumpy, maybe you should go. Cherry Dunn, looking at you. Yeah, I have flyers if you want one. They're kind of limited. I passed out a latte, so that's all I got.
Okay. Any questions? We're good. I'll try not to break up the next round of applause. Next up, we got Senator Brown for the course. S. Brown.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Just want to talk to y'all real quick. The Corps is doing a fundraiser this year. We're doing the Kyle Field Ramp Romp. It's going to be a 5K on November 12th at 9 a.m. Basically, the 5K is going to be running the 3 ramps of Kyle Field. You're going to be running around exact Kyle Field there. It's going to be real fun. Registration is $15. It's going to get you a t-shirt. The proceeds are going to the Wounded Warrior Program and the Angel Flights. So, if you have any questions, the deadline for registration is August 28th. The Facebook group's got the link to where you register. It's just Kyle Field Ramp Romp. Pretty sure it's the only one on there on Facebook. And after early registration's over, it's $20 for registration. So it's a good cause. We're thinking the t-shirts are all going to be paid for, so that way all your money is going to be able to go to Wounded Warrior Angel Flights.
Senator Gonzalez.
October 28th.
Anybody else have questions? Okay, seeing none.
Thanks, Diego.
All right, thank you. Next up on our that closes the organizational forum. Next up, we have a special presentation by Ron Stevely from Transportation Services about our bike programs. Oh, and if you could please close your laptops during this presentation. Thank you.
Howdy.
Hi.
Okay, several things about the bike program that I wanted to update you guys on. We do have some new bike racks on order. That's what they look like right there. I don't know, have you all seen them? My wiener. Okay. We ordered 150 of them. That's a 1,500 capacity. So those should be here the first week of November. This is some of the work that we did last spring to retrofit some of the areas that had the ring racks in them. Okay, that's over by Bio. This is by Halbooty. And then, of course, we got Winter in there. Okay, go ahead. Okay, we're doing some expansion and replacement. We'll readily be able to do the expansion projects when the bike racks get here. Okay, because we don't have to displace any bike parking that exists already in order to do replacement. There are some places actually that we did a little bit of pushing over by West Hampton Garage, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But as soon as the racks get here, we're going to start doing some of the expansion projects, and I wanted to show you what those were. Okay, civil engineering, lab buildings, anybody in engineer? Okay, that area is pretty crowded right now. In this area here, this is on the west end. There's 2 little spaces in between the trees. We're going to place 4 bike racks there. so the people coming out won't have to park at the stairs anymore. We're going to park in the bike racks. Go ahead. Pi Hour Square, along the side of this civil engineering lab building, we're going to, well, they actually moved the tables out already, and we're going to line that whole side of the wall with bike racks. So that's going to help a lot with congestion in that area as well. And if you look at the 6 to 8 racks on the slides, think of that as 60 to 80 spaces for bikes. Okay, rated for those racks. The Physics Cane building, right now I think there's 3 over there. Okay, and I've noticed that the engineers in that area are kind of parking their bikes, assuming there was a rack there, so it looks really nice, except for that one over by the wall. But we're going to add 2 more there too, because that area seems to need it. And I can add without having to displace the people that actually park there anyway. So we'll add 2 racks over there, beginning in November. Jackie Brown and the cyclotron. Okay, again, the engineers all lined up nice. Okay, but there will actually be bike racks there for them to park in rather than just air. So that'll work out really nicely. And just a quick note on bikes. These bikes right here, okay, they're nicely lined up. You know, they have flaps. There isn't enough space to park it on a rack. I appreciate that a lot, believe me. I really do. Now, an area like this, as far as compliance goes, have you guys seen the bike booths on campus? Okay, I don't do anything over here because I know there's not enough room for them to actually park their bike in a rack. Okay, but just so you know, these types of bikes are the ones that are mostly stolen on campus. Okay, a bike that somebody can lift up, stick it in a truck, drive away, cut the lock later. Okay, and that's why we're trying to beef up the bike parking so people can actually secure their property. Okay, go ahead and move in. Okay, over at the pavilion. I got word that people are just taking their bikes into the pavilion. So we're actually going to put bike parking in between the pavilion and the annex. Okay, right there. Probably going to put those ring racks in there. Okay, because that sidewalk's kind of narrow. If I can put the new style, that coat hanger looking style, I will. But I'm kind of leaning toward the ring racks in that section right there to give the pavilion some relief from having bikes in there when people are entering the building. Okay, West Campus Garage. Is anybody a victim of the bike rack removal? Did you get the bike rack? Yeah. Okay, good. We actually had signed it for 10 working days prior to us removing the bikes. I don't know if you saw it or not. Yeah. But this area on game day used to be a nightmare. Okay, bikes cluttered everywhere. Our guests on campus are actually having to move bikes out of the way. So we decided to push all these bikes down to the basement of the West Campus Garage, where there's actually covered indoor parking. Okay, go ahead and take the racks out so when the new racks come in, I can turn this into an expansion project. Okay, so those racks will be going in before the end of the semester, so then you guys can start parking your bikes there again. But, you know, part of my mission is to make sure that the campus looks good. I don't know if you guys have noticed or not, but like over at the bookstore, looks a lot better than it did at the beginning of the year. Kelvin Bells looks a lot better than it did at the beginning of the year. The dorms look a lot better than they did at the beginning of the year. So I think the program is working, and I need your help as students to help us give a good projection of the university to our visitors, because we have visitors here every single day. Okay, so West Campus Garage. Next slide, please. Okay, Gazelle Hall. There's a little place in between the buildings there. That's the one over kind of near the MSC where the buses drop off. That's actually tucked away in between the buildings. We're either going to do cement slab in there or do some crushed granite. Okay, and then stick 3 bike racks in there. And then there's a rack actually on the south side of the building that's too close to the doors that we're going to have to remove for safety reasons. And that one's going to be coming out on the 31st of October. If your bike is there, you know someone who is, please make sure they move it so I don't have to impound it. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, expansion projects. Oh, yeah, outdoor adventures. Has anybody ever been over there on a bike? Okay, no place to park. Okay, we're going to put 1 rack right there. gas meters, okay, on the civil engineering building and on petroleum engineering, and the fence line going to the CE lab. That's the only place we enforce. Otherwise, I mean, you see them, they're kind of strung out a little bit, but I know that that's an area that actually needs a little bit of help. So as far as enforcement goes, we're not doing it, except for the places that we have to due to safety and accessibility. So those are coming out, new racks are going in, it's going to be really nice. There'll be space for 90 bikes in that area, so that's going to help a lot. Next slide, please. Okay, north side, am I going over time or anything? Am I getting treated? Okay, north side garage, that little cluster of bikes, do you guys see it right there? That's actually a bike rack. It's rated for, guess how many bikes? 3. Okay, it's a 3 bike rack. It's the corkscrew style that don't work. Think SCC. Okay, that's coming out. We'll put 3 of the new style racks for 30 spaces for the people that use that. Okay, go ahead, next slide. Oh, the SCC, what do you know? Okay, this has the corkscrew racks that I absolutely don't like. So I'm very happy to be pulling those out during the winter break. We'll put 4 to 5 on each side of the building. This is where everyone's parked on the right. Okay, that's on the east side of the building. And I don't think many people know that there's actually bike racks on the west side of the building. Okay, that's this picture. So both sets are coming out. We're going to put 4 to 5 perpendicular to the building, and then increase that. And then on the east side, we can actually put another row in, or column, I guess, if we have to, because that sidewalk is pretty wide, so we'll be able to accommodate more bikes in that area as well. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, G. Raleigh. Yeah, with the MSC under construction, you know, the bookstore moves to G. Raleigh. This bike rack, inverted U's, it's not used properly. People are doing better. There's bike racks behind that hedge in the background, and then across the street at Golden. But I am still going to rip out these inverted U racks and put that new style in. When, you know, there's speculation that G. Raleigh is going to go away. So if it ever does and they fence around it, I'll just take my racks out and move them somewhere else. But in the meantime, though, I do want to get some relief for people that have classes in there and they go to the bookstore as well. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so Visa. Did anybody see Spiza at the beginning of the year by the underground? Okay, very crowded, handicap ramps. I mean, everything that could go wrong was going wrong. So what we did for immediate relief was we put some bike racks in there. This is the front of the building on the right. This is the side by the underground. We put some temporary ring racks in there to provide some relief, and I think it's helped a lot. Okay, next slide, please. But what we're going to do is remove these racks during winter break. Put the new style in, take the temporary ring racks away, put the new style in the front of the building as well, and then that place will be very nice and have enough capacity for everybody as well. Okay, next slide. Okay, so quick summary. Okay, as far as bike racks. Okay, expansion, we're going to add 26 to 30 racks, depending on how many I can actually fit in that certain area, which transfers to 260 to 300 rated spaces per bike rack, which is, I think, pretty tremendous. And then replacement, the racks that are coming out, it's about 150% of capacity when we put the new racks in. So we're going to add, okay, who's math? I'm putting in 400, how many am I taking out? 300? No. Whatever, you guys figure it out later. Get out your phone. But the bottom line is that we're increasing capacity in those areas that need it. And I think that that's a great thing. So hopefully, when all that starts to happen and you guys come back after Christmas break, you'll start to see it and know that we're trying to do something for you. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, bike booting and impound. Let's see, spring 2011. I got my job last year in December. Okay, a brand new unit in transportation services, alternative transportation. We didn't have a bike program since I was here. We didn't have a bike program in the 80s when I came to school. I don't think we ever had one. And then they hire me, and I'm supposed to have a bike program. Okay? So, spring 2011. Before I got here, they already conveyed the message that if your bike wasn't parked in a rack, it would be removed. Okay? And that's what I did. If the bike was on a pole, I would cut the lock, move it to a rack. If the bike was loose, I would move it to a rack. Okay? The feedback. Oh, if it was on a handicap ramp, I would have to cut it and move it to a rack. I still have to do that. When you get your car towed, it goes to a tow yard, right? It's fenced in and safe, right? So that's the expectation. If my bike gets towed, it should still be safe. Okay, so we started booting in the summer as a beta test. Okay, and we found that everybody was grateful that we were doing that rather than cutting their lock, moving their bike. They didn't know where it would have been. Okay, it took a little bit of time to maybe get their bike back, but it was totally worth it because A, you didn't have to buy a new lock. Okay, unless you were safety or accessibility. Okay, and then next slide, please. So this semester, we actually started locking the bikes with transportation locks with the orange signs. Okay, now the bikes that are done are improperly parked bikes with rack space within a reasonable distance. Okay, that would be bookstore. Okay, you can go across the street to Colas, you go by the hedges, and they're still 50 feet. That's reasonable. Okay, we were moving and moving bikes in that area. Petroleum engineering, we're not, unless it's safety or accessibility. Okay, and then next slide. Okay, impound. Okay, if somebody does not call us to get their bike back within a minimum of 72 hours, we give you 3 days. Okay, your bike is potentially going to get impounded. Okay, and that just means I collect it, get it away from where it was. You got 90 days to get it back. Okay, that's state law before it becomes property of the university. If your bike is let's see, appears abandoned, meaning, you know, the tube's hanging out the back tire, it's rusty, I can't ride it, the seat's missing, someone stole my front wheel, okay? I'm probably not going to repair it, so I'm just going to leave it in the rack. I'll go ahead and collect that as an abandoned bike, but I will tag it first and give the owner time to actually remedy the situation, okay? And that's kind of an ongoing process. We've collected probably about 55 bikes in impound since the beginning of the semester. Oh, and please let everybody know that it's no charge to get your bike back. Okay, if your bike is booted, just call me. Set up an appointment. I go out, we visit about parking in racks. I unlock your bike if you can prove that you own it, typically by unlocking your lock. And you get your bike back. Okay, there's no fine or anything like that, but it makes the campus look better when everybody's doing the right thing. Okay, and that's my goal. In the big picture, my goal is to become a bike-friendly university. I want to be the first one in Texas to get that designation, and I need your help to do it. I think it would be a great kudo for us. We got a huge campus, and you have questions? Yeah, that'll be the next slide, actually. I thought you were waiting for me.
I'll have a question.
Okay, I just saw him doing it. So. Questions?
Okay, so I'll open for 5 minutes of Q&A, starting with your name.
Chair Bank, I really appreciate the presentation. It's really great to see everything that's going on. My question is, with all this, not only renovation but also expansion, is there ever going to be a bike program where we start to charge people to park a bike in specific areas, or just have a bike in general?
No.
Okay.
Okay. With that, Senator Young.
Coleman Young, College of Engineering. I was wondering if you were thinking about putting any more air pumps or stuff that can maybe help blacks around campus.
Excellent question, and I got an excellent answer for you. Did anybody get on the internet?
Yeah. Sorry. Here, I got it. Oh my God.
I actually I thought of that, but I didn't put it in here. But we're ordering 8 bike maintenance stations, and I want you to look at it. I think it's we'll go to Google and type in bike maintenance station.
I do. If like someone's speaking on the sides, I move it.
We'll get to you in just a second.
Will, are me and Riley riding back with you from the retreat? Did he not call you?
Okay, so we got it. Back to order.
Okay. Okay, go to the gallery, if you would. Okay, this is the bike maintenance station. We're ordering 8 of these. Okay, you hoist your bike into it. It's got tools hanging off of it. It's got a pump built in on it. Okay, we're going to put them in the dorm areas. Okay, some of the more traffic-y bike areas on campus. And one over at the rec. Okay, because that's a heavy bike area. West Campus Garage. Okay, those are kind of where we're going to be placing them around campus. If you guys have any input on that, I would love to have it. Okay, because you guys are the ones that are actually doing all the writing. I write on campus too, but you know, I'm grown up and I need your input to know where you guys want it. But we're getting 8 of them. Okay, they're going to be just the galvanized, they're not going to be colored. But I think it's going to help a lot with the tools, especially. Because you know, pedals loose, handlebars are loose, you can just hoist it on there, fix your bike real quick, bump up the tires, and be on your way. So that's kind of a long answer because I had to get it up, but I wanted you to see what it was. Okay.
Senate, try and keep the noise to a minimum. Chairman Nutt.
Howdy, Nutt, Student Services. 2 questions. First off, how many staffers do we have going around monitoring bike parking, etc.?
2.
Does that include yourself?
Includes me. It's me and a student worker. That is it. Actually, if anybody's interested and is passionate about, passionate about the bike program, try to make things better on campus, I actually posted 2 student worker jobs this week. Okay. One is to help with compliance, you know, riding around and doing the bike booting, and one is also to start looking in the dorm areas and the off-camp or the academic building racks, looking for abandoned bikes so we can make sure we have space. So those 2 jobs are posted. If you're interested, I'd be happy to entertain them.
Is there any chance we get a maroon bike repair station?
No. Really? Yeah, but that's not one of their power code calls. All right, we go. Thank you.
Chair Barber.
Yeah, Drew Barber, CR Chair. Thank you so much for coming. Fantastic presentation.
Thank you.
Administrators. This is one of the best. I was just wondering, what y'all ran a survey back in May, if I'm not mistaken, correct? Or sometime in the past without bikes. Was that? Am I right, or am I just making this up? Okay. I think there was a survey run, but is this reflective of the survey? Is this what? Or I mean,
well, I don't know what survey you're talking about.
Okay. Well, there was like, where did you pull your numbers from? I guess for the replacement of racks and the was it?
Oh well, I ride my bike on campus every day, and plus I do all the compliance stuff or the enforcement, I guess. I see where it's needed, you know, and I visit with building proctors. I mean, like the fire square. Okay, that was a pretty interesting one because you know I have to get building proctor approval. I just can't do whatever I want. So I have to garner the support of you know the campus to do the things that I want to do. Like over at the Kane building, you know, I had to get with Proctor to do those 3, and I'm just going to add 2 and that's to do it later. But you know, for me to do things like that, I have to get permission. Did anybody see the new bike racks over by Psychology building with the bus stop? Yes. Yeah, that concrete slab we did. Okay, I spent about $10,000 to do concrete. Had to go through CVE because it had taken away green space. But I put 8 racks over there during summer. Okay, for people to do the bus and bike. So that seemed to go well because that rack is overfull already as well. So thank you. And if you know more about the survey, email me or something, and I'll figure out what it was because I don't know.
Okay. Senator Major.
Sure. First of all, have we looked at adding any trails for bikes to ride on? Because I know that there's a lot of congestion with pedestrians versus bicycles.
I don't think, this is my opinion. No, we haven't looked at that. If we did, I think that would be nice because we do have a lot of pedestrian, bike, skateboard, traffic on campus. I would like to see somebody look at it. I haven't looked at it yet.
And you mentioned a bike-friendly campus designation. What all is that?
Well, the League of American Bicyclists offers up a designation. It's bike-friendly community, university, business. Okay. There's 100, or right at about everybody know what to do on the sidewalk? You know, do people cut people off? Do people stop? Okay, who rides a bike that does not stop at stop signs? Be honest. Okay, you know, danger, for real. Okay, hit a bus, you know, whatever. But seriously, stuff like that needs to be addressed on our campus. I mean, this is a cultural change that we're trying to do, and I need your help to do that, quite honestly, because I think we can do it. And our campus is too big. I mean, we're huge. You have to have a bike to survive on this campus, but we have to make it friendly too for all parties. Pedestrians included, they're almost as bad as bike.
We have like still several questions left, and our time's about up. Is there a motion to extend?
I'd like to extend Q&A by 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Moved, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we're extended. With that, Senator Rachel Sullivan. Oh, withdraw. Okay. Senator Jessup.
Withdraw.
Okay. Senator Harris. Chair Harris.
I'm sorry. Jody Harris, off campus. I was wondering for the air pump, is that going to cost quarters, or do you have like quarters in your pocket?
Well, it's manual. The station?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, the tools are hanging on lanyards.
Okay.
Hopefully people come off. Hopefully the whole Aggie thing will work and we'll maintain the station. But it's a manual pump. And I mean, and like the power stations that we have on campus, those are free anyway. So if we did get power pumps, we would charge.
I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Senator Young.
Second question for you.
Yes.
You were saying earlier about how you didn't want people to run stop signs. So do you actually enjoy the bike cops giving people tickets on bikes?
That is not my area. No, well, it's really not. Moving violations belongs to UPD. Parking is transportation. Now, I'll be honest. Do I do a full stop, put my foot on the ground at a stop sign when I'm on my bike? No. Do I slow down at least to look around and see if I'm being hit by somebody? Yes. I try to be conscientious. That's a lot what you guys do. Do I like it? Sometimes I think it's needed because of the flagrant violation. You know, some guys on a fixie, you know, oh hey, I don't get ambulance cycling. I'm gonna all but to work and blow off every stop sign on campus. I think you should get a ticket. Because it's dangerous. You know, somebody that does slow down, looks around and then goes, you know, I don't think he should, because at least he's trying. You know what I mean? So, but that's just my opinion. Yeah, I'm not speaking on UPD's part at all. I'll be sure that's on the way to the camera.
Okay, thank you. With that, Senator Barisco.
John Barisco, off campus. I was just wondering, what did you guys pay for each one of the racks, and how much do these stations cost?
Let's see, the stations are right about $1,000 a piece.
Okay.
The racks, $450-ish.
So total cost of the project?
Calculator. Oh, well, I ordered 150 racks at about $450 a piece. That's approximate. I mean, I don't have to think. 22,200. Count on our engineers.
Why would tell the engineers?
150 times 4,000. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Okay, we have just enough time for one more, Senator Womack. Oh, you did have it? Okay, I'm sorry. I was understood. Any further questions? We're just about out of time. Okay, seeing none, thank you very much.
Go ahead. I would be happy to come back like quarterly if you'd like, and say how things are going, because I want you to be involved in the process. If you're willing to have me back, just let me know.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. With that, we'll move into approval of the minutes. Without objection, shall we approve previous meeting's minutes? Seeing no objections, previous meeting minutes are approved. With that, we will go into judicial court confirmations. Chief Justice, if you have your candidates bringing for us, 10-minute presentation, 5 minutes Q&A.
very outstanding individuals who show great, sometimes beyond great, dedication and trying to give back. That's really been the oxymoron of some of them. So they are committed to serve. They all have the qualifications necessary. I'll let them introduce themselves, but these four people are truly the best out there right now.
Marianne Owens, I'm a sophomore business major.
I'm Cameron Hubbard. I'm a political science major.
My name is Terrence Evan. I'm a junior political science major.
My name is Stephen Getz, and I'm a freshman political science major.
Sorry, I'm talking with my mouth full. Questions for the nominees? Somebody has it. Senator Womack.
Hi, Mark Womack. Just real quick, how did you hear about getting involved in SGA and why judicial court?
I heard about, well, I've always been enthusiastic about SGA. I think I heard about it online, maybe on the Student Activities website, and then looking around at the SGA website, I found JCORD, and that's how I found out about it.
Well, I've always been interested in joining student government, and there was the open house for the student associations, and I finally found the student government table and looked up judiciary courts.
Yeah, same process, looked it up and decided that's something I wanted to join. I have a pretty big background in law, so I thought this would coincide with something.
I've always been interested in student government. Hopefully I'll go to law school after college, and I heard about it from a couple of upperclassmen that are also interested as well.
Thank you. All right, thank you. With that, Senator Young.
Cole Young, College of Engineering. How do y'all feel about being lifetime members if that was to happen? Would y'all want to serve for those whole 2 or 3 years y'all have left? Good up there.
Okay, thank you. Chair Harris.
Yes. What is one thing that you would like to accomplish on the
One thing that we even talked about accomplishing in our first meeting is getting our name out there, because we've determined that a lot of people even in student government haven't really heard of us and don't really know what we do. So that's one thing that I would like to help our group accomplish.
She speaks for you.
For me, I talked about, really the new centers that are coming along, maybe provide some type of workshops to, give them orientations on the interpretations of the Constitution. So maybe offer some workshops for freshmen in the center.
For me, it would be getting our name out there and helping people understand exactly what we do and why we do it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Further questions? Going once, going twice, seeing none, Chair will close question and answer. If y'all can step outside the room for a minute, we're going to talk about you. And with that, do I see debate board, Chair Harris?
We need a J Court. They seem like great guys. They don't answer all the questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. With that, do I see debate against confirmation? Going once, going twice, seeing none, Chair will deem debate one-sided. We will take a vote. I believe motion made for a voice vote, seconded. All in favor of a voice vote, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We will take a voice vote. All in favor of confirming, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And Chair, that passed unanimously. You can bring it back in. We'll get them sworn in.
Anytime now.
so just to give you an idea what this is, everybody, there is real simple, it's the fee review committee for SGA. And when I got a call from Jeff Pickering and Tanner about a month ago now, about a month ago at like 11 o'clock at night being like, Thomas, we discussed something like you chose, I was very, very privileged, I felt very trusted, and it was important to me to approach this committee with a very non-biased approach and really do the best job possible to represent students equally when it comes to their money. And I looked into some background, and used to, the way that it was with our bylaw stated is that this committee had to consist of 4 senators and 3 exec members. However, a couple of years ago, we said, we need more diversity of perspective, basically, on this committee. And so there was an amendment passed to allow non-exec, non-Senate people to be on this committee as well, so we could bring in even more perspective. And that's exactly what I aim to do. And so when I considered each of these members, who we missed? Kevin Paul.
I just sent them the fights.
Did you get them?
Yeah, hopefully so.
Anyway, okay. The main thing that was kept into consideration was not these people's titles, but their qualifications and having a variety of perspective. So to go through who we have for the 4 senators, obviously myself, I've already been confirmed as the chair. Also Matt Struble, who's a senator. Kevin, how are you doing? Matt Struble, who is a senator, and he is also on the Chancellor's Advisory Committee. So anything that we do committee can have a direct line to the Chancellor, and that was a very key role in why we wanted Matt. We also had Scott Bowen, the old man in the room. He's been in SGA for a very long time. He's got great perspective on this, and he's also our former Speaker Pro Tem, which is what Amanda does now. Also, Fernando Sosa. Okay, I didn't want all old guys, so we had to go with Fernando as well. He is a very, very he's a freshman senator, and he is incredibly enthusiastic about doing this, and just has gone headfirst into the Senate, into serving students. We're very happy to have him with us. Brian McDonald, who we all know and trust, he's a veteran in this room. He is the RHA president. If you don't know, that is one of the premier leadership positions on campus, and we're very glad to have Brian with us. Also, Brian's the only guy on campus that was on this committee last year, so he can help guide us. He's got perspective on how to do this, because again, he did the exact same thing last year. We have Tyler Moakland. He's filling one of the non-Senate spots. Of course, we all know Tyler. He's been in different facets of SGA. He used to be a senator, and traditionally, you want large student services perspective on this committee. I bring that from the Senate level. Tyler's not in the Senate. However, get this, he is just a student who was not elected to the Senate, but shows up to our committee meetings as a voting member, because y'all voted him as such, and works our laptop and goes and talks to administrators and does a fantastic job just as a caring student. So we're very happy to have Tyler with us. And then also Kevin Pollock, who is the Executive Vice President for Finance. We thought that we really obviously need exec represented and their voice heard in this, and that was very important. But Jeff Pickering, when he talked to me about this, he is always representing unity on campus and variety of perspective. And so we feel like we are unifying a tremendous amount of perspective here. All these guys are very, very qualified. We got exec, we got RHA, we got Senate, we got non-Senate, we've got old, young, etc. And so we're really excited. We think all these people are qualified. And move into question and answer.
Okay, we will have 5 minutes of Q&A. Senator Fleckley.
Mark Lilly off campus, were there any women that you considered for this?
I mean, these were the first 7 people that I went, the first 6 people that I went to, and they all fit.
Okay, Senator Basu.
Howdy, Cody Basu off campus.
Hey, Cody.
How's it going?
Fantastic.
That's not my question. Quickly, are all of you in favor of student control over student fees in a rough sense?
I've already been confirmed. We can go down the
Sure,
line.
absolutely.
I'm in favor of student input on student fees, but I do respect the people in administrative positions. I do respect their take on that issue. They're definitely a lot more knowledgeable than I am. They've got their degree a lot of time in that area. So student off campus. That was sad. Howdy.
Howdy.
I just wanted to ask that question just to see kind of whether they did have a diverse perspective, and they did. I really appreciated everybody giving me their flat out, honest answers. So I think it's a good team. I think they're going to do great things. I'm confident with several of the members on there that share my personal philosophy on this, and I think they're going to give it a good review. That's all I have. Anyone want to? You going?
Yeah, I'll
Senator Lewis.
just that to all these nominees seem very qualified. They have a diverse array of experiences and leadership roles around campus, so confirming.
They were all appointed by Thomas McNutt, who, as he reminded us so many times, that he was already appointed, so.
Okay. We have yielded to the floor. Do I see debate against? Going once, going twice. Chair deems debate one-sided. We'll move into a period of voting. Motion made for voice vote. Seconded. All in favor of voice vote, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. Will take a voice vote. All in favor of confirming the members that are up for you, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Being sure that passes unanimously, please bring it back in. We'll swear them in.
Statutory organization, signed that one. Student body and student government policies, signed that one. That's 13 and 14. We signed both of those last week. West Campus Garage Crosswalk, Cal Womack will be bringing that up at the next TSAC meeting in November to get that crosswalk good to go. And 16, appropriations were signed, and therefore everybody got their monies. So that's an update on the different bills. We had convocation tonight. I really felt great about it. It's really good now because we have videos of the different leadership of the 3 branches and the policy side as well as the programming side, and now videos of the 3 of us speaking. Unfortunately, you know, we couldn't all be tall, blonde guys, but Ben and I held up one end of it. I guess that wasn't a funny joke. But it was good. We got it all on video now. We'll be splicing all that together and putting it up on sga.tmu.edu for your viewing enjoyment. So that's, I guess, an update on different things that we're working on. Some other things we're working on. I mean, they're not bills yet, but they're things that we're learning about and things that students have brought to us to investigate. One being rental, the price to rent fields at Penberthy. Specifically, OLAGS brought this up to me. Clay from OLAGS brought it up about just the fact that the rates came upon them quite quickly. What rates used to be out at Penberthy compared to what they are now. Of course, Penberthy got millions of dollars of renovations, and they did it without raising any student fees, which is really impressive. And last Friday afternoon, we had the grand opening ceremony, and I was given, as the student body president, as representative of the student body, I was given a ceremonial key to Penberthy, so we'll be putting that up in SGA soon. But it was really great that they did it without raising student fees. But what comes along with that is raised rental rates for just the sheer amount of lights. I mean, it's the brightest Kyle Field out there at night, and it's AstroTurf fields, and they bundled a couple different things into it. So we're investigating that because really we want to make sure that the rates are fair for people this year, since they really jumped up high. I mean, if they're going to need to be up high, let's talk about staggering it or something like that. So we want to respect the fact that student fees weren't raised and pay-as-you-go sort of deal, but in a reasonable way. Also, along the lines of rates, the University Center Complex, so UCC, that is coldest building, Rudder Tower, and the MSC. With the opening of the MSC, a brand new, nice, beautiful building with a bunch of new rooms, including a big, beautiful ballroom for rent. In order to not defer maintenance to the new MSC, and therefore the rest of UCC, they're bringing forth a proposal of basically rental rates. Just to kind of clarify some things there. Well, first I will say I'm going to give a little clarity to that from what I've learned in the different meetings I've attended to you. But second, I've asked, and I've CC'd Tanner on these emails, I've asked for the next Senate meeting for UCC to come basically give that presentation to you. So he emailed me today, said he'll be here. He asked me how many people usually attend these meetings so he can have all the printouts ready for everybody. I said, you might just want to email it. He said, no, we'll print it. So you'll all be getting a handout of everything. I told him about 75 to 80, somewhere around there. Basically, the categories, there's 5 different categories. Recognized student organizations is the first category. Second category is recognized student organizations having an event that lasts for 4 hours or longer, like a social event, and or an event where you charge money for non-A&M students to come to. So like if you have a conference where you charge other people to come, and you're renting a room for more than 4 hours, that has a little bit of a price tag associated with it. However, the normal student group meeting that's going to meet for less than 4 hours, recognized student organization, we're still going to be discounted 100%. Third rate, I believe, is university staff and departments. Fourth category is Texas A&M University System affiliates. And then the 5th rate is no Texas A&M affiliation at all. And that's where the prices really are, which is great because people are going to want to come use our ballroom for weddings and different stuff like that. So it's going to be great for us to make money off of that because it's going to be a beautiful facility. So that's dealing with rates. We're looking at that. We're also looking into some branding issues that the Business Student Council asked us to look into. And I mean, there's a whole lot more going on, but my head was kind of at the convocation speech, so I hope that suffices. And now if there's any questions.
Okay, great. Senator Heath.
Nicole Heath, I was just wondering, where did y'all get the funding for the SGA convocation?
Yeah, convocation was funded by, and we put a little special thanks to Associate Vice President Tom Reaver. Basically, after the meeting last, so 2 weeks ago tonight, he was here, obviously, for Joe Route Boulevard, and afterwards he walked outside, and we said, you know, we weren't able to secure funding in the meeting, and he said, well, I've got some money, I'll just take care of it, send the invoice to me, and wanted me to to tell you in case it was asked. Absolutely 0 student fees were used for that. That's his money, not university. So, yeah.
Thanks, Senator Bassoud. That's quick.
Howdy, Cody Bassoud off campus. Thank you, Jeff, for telling us about what the bills have been going on. I've been in SGA for a very long time. You're the first student body president to do that. I appreciate that. You're supposed to do that. Quick question. Can you brief us on the status of the Sul Ross Penny Act?
Hey, that's great. I'm glad you brought that up. Is Robert, I think he's outside doing homework right now. But Bobby Scoggins, special advisor of mine, has been working on that. Right now, I believe he sent an email to Dr. Stagman to send out to he has a student leader listserv. And so the application for that is written, and it will go out next week. Probably should have started with a little background on that. Sul Ross Penny Act, Zach Johnson, Sul Ross Penny Act, says that every 2 years we take applications, my office takes applications for the collection of the pennies and the coins on Sul Ross to then go to a charity. So for the past 2 years it's been going to a group called Circle K International, and the time is up, according to our statutes, that the time is now to collect new applications. So Robert has bundled that application together, and it should be sending out, I believe he asked for it to be sent out on Monday. So yeah, it should go out soon, and then we'll start collecting applications.
Thank you, Ms. Burton.
Yeah.
I'm curious if Circle K uses like the Best Buy gift cards and stuff that don't end up on there sometimes. That's beside the point.
The gingerbread houses?
Or the gingerbread houses. Any further questions for the student body president? Going once, going twice, seeing none. Thank you very much, Mr. SVP.
All right, thank y'all. Gig 'em.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. I forgot to also say, November 2nd, it's going to be a fun meeting with UCC rates as well. But Regent Jim Schwartner talked to Tanner and I. It was back at the SMU football game.
SMU football game.
We both got the honor of sitting up in Lofton's box that game. And Regent Schwartner came by in about the 3rd quarter and said, hey, I want to come to the next Student Senate meeting that I can. And so he'll be coming. We'll be going out to dinner at Rudy's before that with him to kind of chat about the happenings of the student body, and then he wanted to come and address all of us. And basically he told me that he simply wanted to come as a regent, which is the highest level of authority in our university system, simply because they are here for students, and he wants to be in direct contact with as many students as possible. So be looking forward to that. That'll be great. Also, Chris is showing me the SGA golf tournament October 28th. Sign up by Tuesday. Thanks and gig 'em. There you go.
Okay, thanks. Okay, I do have. Yes. Okay, thank you. First things for our vacancy process, which Amanda will talk about during her report here in a second. I'm hereby declaring all current senators to be added to that standing. So we declared the standing committee. So now it's my prerogative to add whoever is now currently a senator as part of the standing committee to review the vacancies. So that means any of you can be a part of that vacancy review process if you so choose. Additionally, good gravy, I just had, this is just, Jeff was saying our next Senate meeting, that's our next regular Senate meeting. Remember that there is the fee meeting next Wednesday. So your chairs will be rescheduling their committee meetings that happen on Wednesday nights. And so if you regularly meet Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock or later, that'll have to get rescheduled because we've got our fee meeting. I will not be here. Amanda will be chairing that meeting. So please be kind to her. It's not easy up here. Let's see. I think that's about it as far as my updates go. One thing I did want to say, Amanda and I talked after last meeting, and the roll call, the closing roll call, has been an issue since the beginning of SGA, but it continues to be an issue, and we don't want people getting counted absent who are actually physically here and just can't hear their name called or whatever. So the way we're going to handle that from now on, if Amanda cannot, thinks that the noise level is too great, she's just going to stop calling roll. And when it's quiet enough again, she will resume calling roll. So if you would like to be counted present without, but you would still like to leave, it's going to behoove everyone to stay as quiet as you can so that Amanda can get through that list of names sooner rather than later. So anyways, so that is all we've got, and Sarah has a couple quick announcements. I'm going to let her.
Thank you.
y'all every 2 weeks. So if at the end of this meeting you would please make sure that you take all of your trash to the trash can and your recycling, there's cans and bottles right out here, just drop it on your way out. That would be awesome, and I would really appreciate it. And the second thing I want to let y'all know is I'm actually going to be out for the next 2 weeks. I know I'll miss y'all too. But Amy is still going to be here, so if you have any questions or concerns related to Senate, Miss Amy's over there, and she will be there to answer whatever you got. And then I'll be back. I'll actually get back to the College Station in 2 weeks at like 6:30, but I will be here at the Senate meeting. So that's how much I love you. Thank you.
Okay, so that does it for my executive report, and with that we'll go to Speaker President Hathaway.
Howdy.
Howdy.
So just a couple of things that are really unrelated. First of all, for those of you that don't know, we have a communication and pledges sign-up sheet at the front of the room every meeting. And we've officially run through the entire list. So if anyone new is interested, feel free to add in. Otherwise, we will start back up at the beginning. So I really encourage anyone to sign up and do the pledges and the invocation. Second of all, the second round of vacancies is going to be officially announced tonight. We have 4 open positions. I will announce at the end of the meeting since we have to add in the roll for this meeting, obviously. But we unofficially have 2 education spots, 1 business spot, and 1 vet med spot. So that's awesome because we only have 4 vacancies. I don't know if that's a record, but it's a really good sign for the year. But just so you'll have a heads up, the applications will be due next Wednesday at 5 p.m. So make sure you tell your student organizations that you're involved with, your constituents, how to get involved. We will have a vacancy review process on that Thursday night. I will send you out more information, but that is an opportunity for absence forgiveness, and it is also an opportunity to grade your peers to see if they will get an interview or not. And then we will have the chairs do interviews on that Sunday. And the new senators will arrive the next Wednesday. So we'll see some new faces pretty soon. If anyone has questions, I'll be sending out an email. But just a heads up on that. And then lastly, for those of you that are completely unaware of everything, there's an SGA golf tournament. I don't know if you guys know. And Student Senate is in charge of the 16th hole. So, I sent out an email, which I sent out a lot of, and I apologize. But this email says that for every hour that you work at the SGA golf tournament, you get a half absence. So that's the equivalent of not doing opening or closing roll, which is a really big deal. That's like 4 times as much as going to an extra committee meeting. So it's a really, really lucrative offer, and everyone should take advantage of it. You can sign up online. There's a Google Doc, and you can sign up with all your friends because we need between 2 and 4 people per hour. It is from 1 to 5 p.m. on Friday, October 28th. So I don't want to send out another email, but I will if I have to with the Google Doc link. So that's all for my report. Thanks.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, seeing none. With that, we'll move into old business. Whoop. So first up, we have SB 6419, the Traditional Campus Architecture Bill. If the bill authors could come forward, 10-minute presentation, 5:15, the usual.
There. Well, howdy again.
Howdy.
Sorry, I'm gonna say my little spiel, and then our architect in the room will take over, Luke Calzer. But basically, this is something as student services chair and before I was chair, that people have been talking about for a long time. And that is the architecture on our campus has inconsistencies. If you haven't noticed, and all this bill does, please read through it. But all that it does is say, with new construction on campus, with planned new construction that's going to happen, if the administration would just consider doing neoclassical architecture, and the bill basically says model buildings after the following timeless buildings on campus: the academic building, the administration building, Savisa Dining Hall, and the new YMCA building. I think everybody loves these buildings. They are beautiful. They are gorgeous, timeless buildings. In 100 years, they are still going to be in photographs, okay, as long as we keep them restored. I'm sure that Blocker was really cool when it was built. Okay, I'm sure that everybody thought this is modern and cutting edge, and all the youngsters will like it, okay? Well, 6 months later, okay. Anyway, and so I know that we do have new buildings on campus that are very like neo-modern style, and they look good now. sure that y'all have too. Their new buildings and their old buildings, their new buildings look like they're distinguished old buildings. And we don't seem to be doing that. And I think it's something that students care about, and we need to show the administration that students really do care about this. We're a tradition university, and we should have a university we should have a campus that echoes that tradition. So, Luke?
I think Thomas pretty much said everything. This isn't a new concept. It's been something that's been in the master plan since 2004 when it was created, so it's not like we're asking the administration of the campus to all of a sudden U-turn on whatever, plans they have. Also keep in mind there's a difference between historical and traditional, and LEED certifications are still easy with traditional buildings if you're worried about that. Otherwise, we can build pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, and just one more point, guys. This is another example of bills that I would like to think we should all be able to agree on. They're not controversial. I hope that no one is offended by the content of this bill. I think these are the kind of things that students want us to be doing. I think even the bat might be proud of this bill. So that's kind of the spirit of this, and I hope we have a lot more bills like it. So with that, we are happy to go to questions.
Okay, thank you. With that, first up, we have Sir Womack.
Mark Womack on campus. Great idea and great work on this bill, both of you guys.
Thank you, Mark.
I know several years ago at the Council of Built Environment meeting that I just happened to pop into, they were talking about hiring a campus architect, then we ran out of money, and that job no longer exists. So my question is, what administration function, I know you have Rod Weiss in here, but how can we ensure that this responsibility of campus architecture gets incorporated as a primary responsibility of an administrator on campus, and what administrator might that be?
Well, personally, I mean, while we were authoring this bill over here on the couches, Dr. Lofton walked by, and I wanted to be like, Dr. Lofton, but he was a very busy man and kept walking. But I mean, if you bring this to Dr. Lofton's attention, General Welker's attention, if you bring this to the Board of Regents' attention, I mean, that there are people that this will be delegated to. We don't have any like binding power in the Senate, but they listen to us because they know that basically, we're the customers of this university, and you got to serve the customer well. So I have faith that if exec carries out these bills, and Ryan and Jeff have done a fantastic job of delivering our bills where they need to be that those processes will take the toll they need to.
And to continue with that a little bit, I mean, our campus has begun to do a little bit better of a job in terms of making sure that the buildings they're building now are more similar. A lot of buildings along University Drive, you can tell, are similar in terms of the new building. We'll see what happens with the new liberal arts buildings. ILSD may not be a great example, but it does look like the administration is trying to work toward a more unified campus in terms of buildings.
Thank you.
Okay. Senator Rosavita.
Senator Rosavita, College of Art and Sciences. As far as where this would be open, would you include the entire campus or just main campus? I ask that because West Campus is now developing, and they're all the buildings on West Campus, none of them really include any of the traditional architecture, and especially with the new Ag and Life Sciences building going up and their big promotion of like cultivating water and stuff like that, and modern technologies. Will that be included when reverting back to the traditional architecture?
It does. You can use traditional and modern architecture together, and that is seen in some of the that have been put on lately. Anyone it's easily accessible to just go on CTA and master plan. On there you can see all the plans for both West Campus and main campus. And it's easy to see the architectural style used over on the other side of campus as well.
Okay, Chair Barber.
Permission to preface. There's only one reservation I had about this, and I just pulled it up to make sure I was right. The Design Review Board, which is the university committee, and I wish Tyler Tatch isn't in here anymore. Is he? No? Okay, well, if he was, I would give him more questions. But he sits on that board, and on that board is a list of high-ranking people, VP of facilities, so on and so forth, it goes on and on. And people who I'm sure are great, but I don't know who they are. But number one, have we considered taking their opinion on this bill before we pass it through?
No. I mean, this is something that's important to students. It's not something that's going to rub anybody the wrong way. This is something that we take and say, hey, this is important to us. Now let's talk. And I think that's the best direction to go with We built them before. Students love them. They want more buildings modeled after it in the future, like on other campuses that we compete with, that they're able to do. And they're not Aggies, okay? And they're able to get that done. And so I think it's a pretty simple request. And so no.
We got a couple more, so I'm going to alternate next year. Stage point.
Since I serve on the council of built environment, I have a lot of perspective about the design review board. They're a subcommittee of the council of built environment. Usually when things make it to the design review board, once they've made it that far, it's not just a bill or an idea, but it's an actual either master plan or kind of the architectural plan. Basically, it's a fully fleshed out design of a building or something going on campus. So I don't necessarily think that's.
I'm going to end that with a question mark so you're not out of order. Okay. And Chair will answer that correct. So, does that, I suppose that maybe helps?
And Luke's got nothing to add on to that. And what he serves on.
Oh, I serve on the stuff.
On design review board?
I'm not a doctor,
Okay. I mean over my head, so I'm gonna see.
Okay. Basically, when they get that far through, it's already set in stone. It's not a decision-making fund.
30 seconds left, Senator Simon.
I was wondering, just because I'm all for it for some parts of campus,
Sure.
but there's some things like engineering, for example, where it seems more impressive and more attractive if you have modern buildings, because that's what you're looking for if you're an engineering major. At least I've been to like Michigan, and their engineering side of campus is separate, and it's all modern and pretty, and maybe having a separate modern side of campus.
And that's like what I said earlier. Traditional isn't historical. You can still add modern features to a building and then put columns in front of it, and that can still kind of consider being classical. So don't immediately assume that we're, saying every building has to look like the academic building or like the administration building. There are, there's still flexibility in what we're asking for. We're just asking that for the most part, campus has a flow as opposed to just a mismatch.
It's not canceling out that at all.
Okay, thank you. And with that, that question and answer time has expired. So we will move into a period of debate on this bill. Does Chair see debate 4 somewhere? Debate 4. Senator Struble?
Senator Struble, off campus. I think we can all agree that our campus is not the most attractive campus in the world. We've got buildings here and there that nothing matches. And like they said, I think we can all agree that the buildings that they mentioned we all like. So I see no reason why we wouldn't want to unify campus by having all of our buildings look similar at least, and that being said, look similar in the sense that they're buildings that we all like. So.
Senator Marshall Lawrence, I think I completely agree with Luke in saying that, there's something to be said for consistency, and while modernism and things like that really show something for moving forward as far as engineering and the business school considers, we want to take those in inspiration. And I think what this bill is saying is, while neoclassical would be a nice focus, it's basically just a general consensus of consistency. Would be including the new building, Wayner, and historic buildings. So I fully agree. I think that, a lot of our computing schools, one of those beautiful campuses in the world, University of Virginia, focuses on the neoclassical. And it's got buildings going up every other week. And you know what? They're managed to take the modern and make it, consistent. And like you said, you can take a modern building, put some columns on the front of it, it makes all the difference. So I think that success and consistency in your architecture really are something to take.
Okay, with that, we've got debate against Chair Barber.
All right, real fast, I just did some thinking about this. I had a heart-to-heart with myself, and I happens a lot, don't ask questions. I talked to myself about it before on the surface. I thought it was great and groovy, but I looked at it a little bit more, and I've got 3 questions that I want to ask before we go forward with this. I want to take into account feasibility. Is this neoclassical architecture feasible? Don't get me wrong, I'm the biggest fan of this. I learned what neoclassical architecture was, and I Googled it because I didn't know what Counselor was talking about. And I learned I'm a fan of it. And I'm a fan of it. I learned I'm a fan of keeping the academic building. I'm a fan of the administration building, sitting on the steps. It's one of my favorite things to do. But price going to be on this? Is the price going to affect this? Is it going to be, how much money is it going to be to ensure neoclassical architecture? That's one question.
Take a point. Yeah, Drew, I don't mean to cut you off. You're just Instagram. Can we not refer that question to Luke Calendar, who knows what he's talking about?
Sure, I will refer that. But will it cost more money to be neoclassical?
I mean, I can't sit here and say I know how much a new building's going to cost because I can't tell you how big or small. I mean, there's so many things that go into it. But you have to realize we're talking about a 50-year plan. This isn't something that's just going to change overnight. All we're doing is saying, in terms of new buildings that are being built on campus, will you take a look at neoclassical architecture? Will you take a look at spending a little extra time to make sure that the buildings are aesthetically pleasing and that you produce something?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut you short. You were kind of in line with the question, but I'm gonna have to. Okay, thanks. Sorry, you can. You got a minute and a half.
Okay, great. And the last thing I'll question, this is solely for aesthetic appeal. We're looking at this from a pure aesthetic appeal point, and nobody would speak more about the importance of having an aesthetically pleasing university. I'll be the first one to tell you the importance of that, and I'll be the first one to advocate that we need I think campus is beautiful as it is. I know some of you would probably disagree with me, but I would be the first one to tell you that I think Texas A&M is beautiful, and that's all parts of campus. So I would question. There has to be more than aesthetic appeal that we look at when we build buildings on campus. And it goes beyond just us. It goes to recruiting faculty, recruiting staff, recruiting athletes. I don't know, recruiting whoever. It's beyond just students. It's beyond just us. It's beyond what we have to say. Now, granted, I understand we're taking the opinion of the student body into consideration here. That's who we represent. But I certainly want the top faculty, and I'm making a logical stretch here. I would hate for this to be something that would influence that one way or another. So I ask that you just take those three things into consideration when we look at this. Look past the aesthetic appeal. Are they feasible? Feasibility is the question here. Ask that question. With that, I will yield to Joy.
Thank you. With that, I will see Speaker Hathaway for debate board.
Yeah, I just wanted to hit on two main points. First of all, I think this is a great bill because it directly addresses something that students are talking about on campus. I know I am on West Campus, and I hear a lot from business students whenever they go to main campus. They talk about how pretty it is, how great a feel it gives campus, that historical feel, not just in its architecture, but the overall feel that places like Academic Plaza has. And then they ask, well, why is Wayner different? It's not bad, it's just different. So I think it's a great idea that Luke and Thomas have made to encourage the administration to have consistency throughout our university, across the train tracks and just in general on campus. So I think that's great. Second of all, I just want to point out that this is just encouraging them in the long term to look at the feasibility of this plan. It is not our role or responsibility to judge, will this actually happen? In what capacity will it happen? How much money is it going to cost them to build this new building? Those are really specific questions. This bill is encouraging them to be consistent, and I think that is completely feasible. With that, I yield to who wants it. Anyone? Scott.
What I would say about feasibility is these are classical buildings we're talking about. These were built 100 years ago. If they could do it back then, of course they can do it now. And really what all this bill is saying is that we're providing guidance to the university to take into account in future decisions. We're not making decisions for anyone. We're just saying that we'd like you to take this into consideration because we think it would look good. We think it would improve the image of campus. And that's all we can really do. Obviously, there are architects who are paid millions of dollars to do this, and we just like our input on this. And I think this is something that most students are in favor of. And with that, let's see.
I just want to add, I've never seen Colbus in a recruiting video for Texas A&M or on a motivational video on game day. Those are always the administration building, the academic building. That's what people love about Texas A&M when they come here and they're like, whoa, what is this? All these people go nuts and it's just columns in front of a building. Like, that's it. It's that sense of we've been holding true to who we are since the very beginning.
Debate against? Do I see debate against? I'll debate. Okay. There you go.
Young College Engineering. Okay, so I'm all for making the campus look beautiful because in 2008, 2009, we are the 18th ugliest school college. So, and even though know, we might think it's beautiful because we're here, and I love it personally, and I think it's amazing. But everybody else thinks we're ugly. So I'm not exactly sure how I think that students want to change it. I'm not sure if columns or the way we've been doing things in the past is the way to go with it. That's the only reason I'm like against it. I'm not saying that I wouldn't want more columns, but I'm saying that we might want to talk to students more about this. I personally love the glass windows and everything in the engineering side that I get to see that way. I'm sorry if y'all don't. And it's just something that I really enjoy. So I'm not going to say that I'm 100% against this. And does anybody want to go again?
Yeah, I want to jump back on. Just I was thinking more about this, and we have brought up ILDS. Am I correct? The one north of Simpson. How, if we have a plot of land, like we're running out of space to do here at Texas A&M, if we have a plot of land and we have to make a building that's maybe 20 feet wide and 800 feet long, like ILDS is, and we want to make that neoclassical, that's what I'm afraid of. And I'm afraid of we would be stepping on toes and impeding that process if we needed to do that. And that's what I'm afraid of, and that's essentially what the argument boils down to. Senator Davis is shaking his head. The feasibility question is what it boils down to there, and with that I will yield back to the floor.
Motion has been made. Previous question seconded. All in favor of previous question, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Being sure that passes, we will move into a clicker vote on this bill. Please be sure to activate your clickers, turn them on, get it registered. How are we going? And remember, you know, put your clickers down when you're done, so I don't get. Couple still getting registered. Does anybody need more time with their clickers? There were a couple that are still getting registered. Are we good? Okay. Go once, go twice. Continue to chair this bill passes. With that, we'll move into presentation for SB 6423, the Lot 30 Improvement Bill. Yes. Okay, there's motion to move the bill back to committee. Is points or is it second? Okay, all in.
Point of information.
State point.
Can we hear the lot as the live?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had a meeting with Director Lang yesterday, and when we passed the bill out of committee, we had a series of assumptions that we made. Those assumptions are wrong, so this bill needs a rework. And rather than hastily writing a bunch of amendments last night, I thought it would be better to just send it back to committee and try to get it.
Okay. So that has been moved and it's been seconded. This is not a debatable motion, is it? It is debatable. I'm sorry, it is debatable. Debate for motioning back to committee. I would consider soon.
Anytime a bill author makes that motion, I think it's why not?
Okay. All right. Thank you. Debate against move the motion to committee. Okay. Seeing that Charity's debate one sided, we'll take a vote. All in favor of moving the bill back to committee, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Make sure that passes. We will move that bill back to the Student Services Committee. Next up, SB 6424, the Leggett Basement Restoration Bill. Bill authors, 10 minutes.
Okay, so howdy. This bill is basically to restore the Leggett Hall basement back to student use. Thank you. Giving you a little history on it. We haven't built a new residence hall on campus since the year 1989, so before some of us were born, some of us weren't born then, but I wasn't, so. Anywho, moving on. So we haven't built a new building since I've been alive, pretty much is the story there. And then starting in 1996, we actually started demolishing buildings without building any new buildings. So as of 2011, we have demolished 6 buildings. We're building one new one to replace some of that, but we have demolished 6 buildings, and to date we haven't really had any new residence hall construction until this brand new one that they're in the process of building right now. And we have lost several thousand beds. I can't remember the quite number of beds, but we have lost somewhere there. We've lost quite a number of beds in this process because the 3 that just came down themselves were 640 beds that we don't have for the next 2 years until 2013.
Hey.
And basically, right now, we are at a 101% capacity on campus. That means there are 60 young ladies in study corrals, in TV lounges, thrown anywhere that we can find room for them. And if we had that basement back, that would go from 60. The basement can hold about 55. So we would have 5 in over-assignments. The difference between 60 and 5. We really do need that space back so that we can make sure that we do have some housing here for people who would like to live on campus. That's basically why we're choosing to send this bill. We have the support of the ladies who live in Leggett. They want to see this back. That's valuable programming space for them. That space they can use, and we just really want that space back so that we can get students back in there and students residing in there. And just real quick, that also does cause an awkward situation because people actually have like stuff down there and they have to go visit their advisors, and it's weird when some guy is trying to walk into an all-female hall and he's like, oh, I thought my advisor was in here. So it's kind of awkward to have some random guy walking into your hall because his advisor is actually downstairs in your basement. So with that, I will yield to questions.
Okay, thank you. With that, first up, Sir Womack.
Howdy. Have you talked to the women in gender study? Are they cool to move to the liberal arts program? Building, is there room for them? Is that feasible?
Well, I mean, they're in a basement right now, so I would hope there's somewhere in campus we live with. But I will be working with the Dean of Liberal Arts, and I'll be talking to the CBD and whatnot. That's the next step. Those are the next steps. After this, I do want documented student opinion that students do want this space back.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. Senator T. Brown. Withdrawn. Senator Gadum.
Senator Gadum, what would prevent residence life from just adding more people? Like, you said, would there be 5 missing overflow? What would prevent them from just adding another 50 to overflow? So you have 50 in the basement, but then they're just getting residents.
Well, if we have high numbers next year, then there probably will be overflow. But that's 55 less people that will be in overflow, and they can work to get the other ones out as well. So instead of 55, you could have 100 next year. I mean, with rising student populations and less buildings, then we need some space there. So that 55 spaces could help out tremendously.
Okay, Senator Clefley.
Senator Clefley off campus. There's not been a new dorm built specifically on campus, but the university has just put up a new set of apartments. They're really, really nice. I've been to them multiple times, not living there, obviously. But so how does that work with students wanting to live on campus and then getting sent to university apartments, or is that in your total capacity?
That has happened some of the time. We have been able to get some of those students. The problem is currently freshman students aren't allowed to live in the gardens, either phase 1 or phase 2. They're not allowed to live there. Exactly. So it has to be sophomores and up. So that means if upperclassmen want to stay on campus, which they're totally free to, then they can choose to stay on campus, and then the new freshmen, that's less spaces for them. So you have a lot of overhang because they can't really go anywhere else. They can't go to university apartments because that is for upperclassmen. So.
Quick follow-up?
Yeah.
Do you know if the university gardens are at capacity?
I would, if it's okay, I'd like to refer that to Senator Nagin. Sure. Yeah.
The gardens, or the university apartments are actually at 95% capacity, but the overflow that's currently in residence life are all freshmen.
Right.
And so that they won't move them over there because the community is different.
Right.
So they're at 95%.
Perfect. Thank you.
Further questions? Going once, going twice, seeing none, we'll close question and answer. Thank you. With that, debate for the bill. First debate for. Chair Harris.
Guys, the RHA president, the people who live in Leggett Hall, they've come to you, they've said that they favor this. General Weber favors this. When all of those people are in, when they're in agreement, I think this is the right thing to do.
Okay.
And I yield to whoever. It doesn't matter.
You can go. Okay, Catherine Nattinger, University Apartments. I was actually the Residence Hall Association president last year, and we passed a bill in RHA supporting this at the end of the year. It didn't make it to Senate due to time constraints, but we have a lot of support from all of the on-campus community, including as well as administrators in the Department of Residence Life and Student Affairs. So I really encourage you to vote for this bill because there's a lot of support, and Residence Life really does need that room for residents to live in. And I yield to.
Okay, Senator Fernandez from Northside. I actually live in that dorm, and I can personally tell you that we do need that space because we have students living in our TV lounge, and guys awkwardly standing outside our dorm trying to get in. So please vote for this bill. Thanks and game. Oh, and I yield to the floor.
Okay, thank you. Senator Fleckley against.
Perfect. Senator Fleckley off campus. There's two resources that this campus holds really near and dear, and the tight purse strings on, and those are money and space. And this one concerns the latter of those two. We have a new liberal arts building going up. Women's study falls into liberal arts. That'll move. The campus is in a period of turmoil, really, in construction with Vision 2020 rapidly approaching in between 6 or 9 years. So, and so from there, you take it and, you have this, and we just have to deal with it. The MSC was gone, and we adapted. We're going to be having to have it back, but we, dealt with it while it was there. We made alternative arrangements. We dealt with it. We, showed that, it's okay. We're students. We're gonna deal with it. We're still gonna get all of our stuff done, and we did that well. I just think that it's not our duty as a student senate to say, you know what, we know better than the administrators of this university. We know better than these people. They're building a liberal arts building to move these people into. I'm pretty sure Women's Studies doesn't like being in a basement, and that's why they're getting a building, not the Women's Studies building, but the liberal arts building, and that's fine. And so from there, you have to take it really to my off-campus caucus. This doesn't affect any of our constituents, so I'll be ashamed of you if you vote for this bill. So don't do that. There's 27 votes against. And so, really from there, Chairman McNutt said, and I quote earlier in this meeting, that we as Senate have no binding power, but they will listen to us. And he said that, and let's maintain that to where they will listen to us and maintain that level of a dignified sense to where they'll listen to us on things that really matter and aren't going to affect only 15 students, but a bigger impact. And I yield to.
Good point.
When's the percentage or likelihood for them to be there next year?
Does anybody raise a hand at me and I'll yield to you. Yeah, Chairs. Or Smith, sorry. I was looking at your name tag.
Roy Smith, there's currently people that I know right now, there's 2 departments that are going to that building, right? Department of English, Department of Theater Arts. Is there any other departments going there? I haven't heard about it, so that's all I know. Yes.
So as of right now, we haven't heard that Women's Studies will be.
No.
Okay, thank you. With that, debate for Senator Bowen.
Scott Owen, College of Engineering. First of all, I love that the Council of the Built Environment is so relevant to this meeting, because this is actually something that we deal with a lot. You would not believe how much time we spend talking about space allocation, because we're the committee that decides that. And basically, request space from the CDE. So they fill out a request. They say, we would like this space. Y'all are vacating this other space, and how can we best use this? And so it's basically a committee of administrators, staff, faculty, and 2 students, myself, and then Kevin Pollock, who subs for me, and then the graduate student council president, who decide how these allocations are made. So, so basically, there is a committee that decides this. We're not stepping on anybody's toes by saying that we support this being assigned that way. All we're saying is that students support the residence life department having this space. If there's a reason that can't be done, it'll be brought up, and the proposal will fail. But from what I've heard, this has undergone its due diligence, and I think this is a fairly popular proposal. I mean, and I yield to Senator Massoud.
Howdy, Cody Massoud, off campus. Off-campus caucus, vote for this. The reason why is, I mean, this is coming straight from RHA, and I think that says enough. And when we talk about the student, the administration of the university, the only way that they're ever going to be able to listen to us is if we tell them something, right? That's the only way they're ever going to get any information. So this is a good bill. This is supported by those it impacts the most. And hey, why don't we lend our support to it? And I yield to Chair Harris.
Got a little story for you, Eggs. Okay, so last year, Dining Services decided that all on-campus students were going to have to buy the meal plans, right? And so we didn't vote with the students on that one. Just because we're a predominantly off-campus university doesn't mean that we need to go against the on-campus students and against what they want. And
motion been made for previous question and seconded. All in favor of previous question, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And Chair will previous question, which is the bill. Sorry. So bring it clear. I suppose that's a Ustream issue. Yes. Okay. We can talk about it and see if there's anything we can do about it. Do what? Okay. All right. We'll talk to it. All right. Is everybody done? I'm sorry. We're doing right? Yeah. Okay. It looks like that passes. Sorry, I don't know why I put the consent agenda after all business, but I did. So, is there any objections to consideration of Senator Lewis, I see you first.
Yes, I object to SR 6413, the consent agenda.
Which is the congratulations Hispanic Heritage. Okay, we will consider that at the beginning of new business. Senator Sue?
I object to SR 6415.
15, the Proposition 3 support resolution. That will be considered following SB 6413 at the beginning of new business. Further objections? Going once, going twice. Apparently we're thanking the wranglers. So, all right. So with that, we'll move into a 10-minute presentation. SB 6413, the Hispanic Heritage. Congratulations, Hispanic Heritage Month Award Winners Resolution. That's the longest title on the agenda.
Chris, for 30 seconds. Is the diversity representative here?
Howdy.
Howdy.
This is a resolution congratulating the two recipients
and Multicultural Services award winners for the 2011 Hispanic Heritage Month Community Award recipients. Let me just read this off real quick. The Hispanic Heritage Month planning team consists of students, faculty, staff at Texas A&M University, and they created the Hispanic Heritage Month Community Awards to honor the dedication and commitment of individuals and/or groups that have positively impacted the Texas A&M and Bryan College Station communities. The awards are sponsored by the Hispanic President's Council, a recognized student organization, and the recipients were, for the student award, it was Maria Fernanda Cabello, which used to be an engineering senator, and the organization award went to the Colombian Student Association this year. So you got, okay, thank you. Questions for the resolution author? Any questions? Going once? Going twice? Is that a, okay, all right, seeing no questions, thank you. This is debate for the resolution. Senator Massoud, you have 2.5 minutes starting at Howdy.
Howdy, Cody Massoud off campus. I've read this 3 times now. I don't see what is controversial here. The consent agenda was created for the purpose of expediting things like this so that we could congratulate organizations on this campus and just do it real quick. We didn't have to waste any of our time. I don't know what is controversial here. This is not a policy. That's why I objected to SR 6415, because that was a policy. This is not a policy, so I don't really see the problem with this resolution. I would be anxious to hear what the issue is. Yield.
Okay, thank you. Senator Bowen, you have the
Scott Bowen, College of Engineering. The issue here is that this award was not originally titled the Hispanic Heritage Month Award. It was originally titled the Dreamers Undergraduate Student Award, and it was in honor of students who tirelessly advocate for the development, relief, and education for alien migrants act. Those were the original pretenses under which this award was given out. Now, I have no problem with people getting awards. I'm proud of students who get awards. The problem is this is a political award. This is an award that was given out by a university department in recognition of students who advocated for a specific political proposition. And I would really, I don't think it's appropriate for Student Senate to pass out resolutions congratulating people for every single political award that they get. I'm proud of the students who got this, and I don't think the appropriate response is to vote against this. I would just say table this bill, or table this resolution, because it's not really what we need to be doing. And so I'm going to make a motion to do such right now.
Okay, the motion has been made to table the resolution. It's been seconded. All in favor of, this is not debatable. All in favor of tabling the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
In the opinion chair, the ayes do have it. This resolution has been tabled. With that, we'll move into period 10-minute presentation, SB 6415, Proposition 3, support resolution.
Not really.
$500 million worth of bonds to back loans for higher education. They approved that. Okay, right now there's about $275 million left in that account, but it's projected to run out before the next legislative session, which would be able to appropriate money into that. And so basically what this bill is going to do is bring up Proposition 3 on the November 8th ballot, and everyone has the opportunity to vote for or against it. We think it's a good idea for the state of Texas in lieu of Texas grants being cut in the past legislative session. There's financial aid is one of the things that's being cut across the board, and so we want to provide as much support to Texas students as we can. It's something that was approved before, so I don't think that it's going to necessarily be one of the contentious things. The reason why we brought it up in a resolution is because it's something that we need to act on quickly. And again, this will just be the opinion of the Student Senate, not necessarily of all of student government, but we're actively contacting, pending the approval of this resolution, universities and colleges in the state of Texas to make sure that their students are only aware of Proposition 3 and that they're educating their student bodies about that. This is a proposition that kind of flew under the radar for a lot of people. Even some people in the Texas A&M system didn't hear about this until a couple of weeks ago. So this is something that we want to actively address, and we need to do so in a timely and efficient manner.
Does that conclude the presentation?
Does anybody have anything else to add? Sam, LR needs to.
That's pretty much it. This isn't here for us to advocate on behalf of that. It's just for us, or for you guys actually, to contact other SGAs in the state of Texas to make their students aware.
Okay. With that, Chairman Nutt, first question.
Yeah, Adam Thompson, got student services. Guys, I've had bills that need to be passed really, or things that need to take up real quick. Why didn't you stick it? I mean, I am all for this first off, but why didn't you stick it in emergency legislation? Wouldn't that make a bigger statement? I mean, I think
It would
all
make
for
it a bill, but if Bryce and Catherine, both of whom are taking a finance exam right now, they thought that the best course of action would be a resolution. And he is my vice president, and she is your LR, or legislative affairs chair. I trust their judgment.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Okay, Senator Spencer. Okay, so withdrawn. All right. Further questions for the resolution officers? Going once, going twice. Yeah? Chairman Gunn?
Is it possible to still put this in emergency legislation, or is it too late?
To convert it to a bill?
Yeah.
Can we? Sorry, say that again.
Say one.
Sure, go ahead.
Well, it's just, I'm sure that a lot of us are in kind of a, principle versus policy argument here. It's like, this is not religious, this is political. The reason we tabled the last resolution. And so it's like, we don't want it to be a resolution, but I think we would support this. And so, let's take a awkward position and put us in put it in a bill if possible and get this done.
Well, I mean, I would, my understanding of resolutions in the past, having served in the Student Senate for 3 years, we've passed many a resolution in previous senates where we've dealt with policy issues. It's just, it's not the full opinion of student government, but rather it just reflects what this body thinks. And it's okay in a resolution for you to make a political statement. It's totally fine, it's acceptable. As long as it's constructive for the student body here at Texas A&M, by all means, pass political resolution. It's fine, as long as they're constructive.
Okay, Senator Bowen.
I'm sorry. This is a resolution. Why does it say Senate bill?
It should not.
Where is that?
That's a
Okay, wherever it is. Oh, I see. Yeah, well, thank you, Scott. Thank you. I'll say that as a compliment. I don't know. And just as an FYI to everybody, I'm gonna fix the legislation template so that you won't have, it'll be much easier for formatting, and we'll post a new one. I know some people are still submitting bills that were clearly taken from a template from like the 61st session, I think, Senator Esparza. So, you're using a really old template.
Well, I think 4 seconds.
Yeah, 60 seconds. So anyway, I'm gonna fix that, just FYI for everybody. Sorry, any further questions for the resolution authors? Senator Bowen, go ahead.
Would it be in order to move to amend this to a bill?
I'm looking at that as
Robert's Rules of Order that would prohibit this from becoming a bill.
And then henceforth also making it a bill? Is that part of your motion?
Yes, comma, and then I would like to just go
Let me ask, because I feel like this was an implication that, are you asking for it to be emergency legislation at the same time?
Comma, I would also like this to be emergency legislation.
Okay. State your point.
Point of order.
State your point, or to answer.
Yield. Take it. All right, point of order. You cannot suspend the Constitution of Washington.
You're absolutely correct. I don't know that that's necessary here because it's not in the Constitution. So the motion has still been made. Question is, does it have to be two separate motions? It doesn't have to be two separate motions, right? Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah, I don't think so because we can. This is true. So if we're already suspending everything that would prevent us from doing it, we're suspending everything that will prevent us from doing it as emergency legislation at the same time. Hold on, everybody. Sir, I'm going to see the suit first because I think
we could withdraw my motion, table this, and then they could
introduce it in open session.
Copy and paste everything onto a new template and reintroduce it.
Who's that?
Move it.
Okay. Okay, so the motion was withdrawn, which is fine because it was never seconded. So the motion has been withdrawn. A new motion has been made to table this resolution, presuming that it will probably be brought up in open session as an emergency legislation bill, as a new bill. Is there a second okay, second. All in favor of tabling this resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
And being sure the ayes do have that. So this resolution has been tabled. With that, we will move into, wow, we've tabled both those resolutions. New business, we have first up SB 63-108 renewal. That's Student Rule 7.3, Senator Sparta.
Good to see you. I heard you use a really old
all items of new business, with the exception of this bill and the constitutional amendment, to 2 minutes with one question and answer.
Motion has been made, seconded to, with the exception of this bill and with the exception of the SGA Constitution Amendment, to reduce presentation time on new business to a period of 2 minutes with 2 minutes of question and answer. Been seconded. This is not a debatable motion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, and the opinion show the ayes do have that. With that, Senator Sparta, go ahead.
Howdy again.
Howdy.
This is a bill that we brought up last session, passed late in the session, so not much action was taken on it. We're bringing it back up. It deals with the student rule regarding excused absences and makeup work. I want to talk a little bit more about it, specific to the situation that you
So if we can pull that up.
Very nice job.
Has everybody voted? Going once, going twice. Okay. Man, that looks like that passed. With that, we'll move into a 2-minute presentation on new business, SB 6425, open access lab printing allocation bill. This one just asks that we all get a certain amount of prints allowed to us each semester. If you don't use them, maybe rolled over to the next semester. I know they passed this a few sessions ago and they had a lot of trouble keeping track of it. So kind of the idea, like they do with the dining dollars, just per academic year, so it would only roll over from the fall to the spring. If it's something y'all want to look at for maybe doing it throughout the years here, if it's something that they can keep track of, the Information Technology Services Office, then I'd be okay with amending that. But right now, I think that was the main problem with it. So just what we can get right now would be per academic year. Is that it? Okay. Chair Baker.
Chair Baker, okay, so I don't know about a lot of folks, but I print everything dual side, but I still get charged for, if I have a 16-page document dual side, it's 8 pages, I still get charged us 16 pages. Is there any way that we can get that changed, or is there a reason why, or what's the price difference and things like that? Is that looked into? Was that looked into at all for this bill?
It wasn't. This was purely the allocation and the rollover.
Okay.
The ones in the committee, I'd be happy to maybe look at expanding it to include all open access lab issues. Maybe we can touch on that.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much.
I would guess that the main part of the cost might be the toner instead of
the toner as well. Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. Chair Harris, did you have questions? Chair Harris. Jody, do you have a question?
No.
Okay. Further questions? Going once, going twice, seeing none. I will refer this to the Student Services Committee. With that, 6427, civil availability bill. Jody, you're on this one. This one, in 2009, the Texas legislature passed a law saying that the civil had to be made available within 3 clicks of the university's website for students. And the original intent by the lawmaker was so that students would be able to see the civil ahead of time before registering, know what classes they were registering for, and not be surprised the first day when they walked into a class that just completely not what they expected. But it got watered down when it went through the process, and then it being the 7th day of class, that's the last day that it has to be posted by, which is a little too late for a lot of us to drop our classes if we've seen it by then. So this is just asking the university to go above and beyond the state law and make it by the first day, so the students can have the opportunity to check the syllabi ahead of time and know whether or not it's a class they want to take. Good. Okay. Questions to the bill authors? Going on. Senator Riley.
Chair Riley, I'll back. Aren't they, the professors currently required to have it for previous semesters? So wouldn't students be able to look at the previous semester for class and click on how do you I think
know the answer.
I'm not familiar, but you do have new professors
Senator Briscoe.
Tom Briscoe off campus. How exactly do you enforce this? I mean, do you how do you get professors to comply necessarily? It's just a general suggestion.
Yeah, we're asking that university administration make it part of their policy. On top of the state law, which is already required that they have like 7 days. So if the faculty senate passes that policy change, it becomes just like any other policy here at the university, it becomes enforced by the university administration.
Further questions? Going once, going twice. Chair will refer this to the Academic Affairs Committee. Next up, SB 6428. The Vizelle Vehicle and Pedestrian Safety Bill. Without objection, we'll consider the bill as read. This is something that we haven't been doing that I should have been saying, but we're considering it as read because it was nasty. 6428. Vizelle.
Howdy. The Vizelle Vehicle and Pedestrian Safety Bill is designed to address concerns directed to the SVP, and I talked to him, and I immediately went to Transportation Services, and it just coincided that they just recently were given a study by a private engineering firm making recommendations to increase the safety in the North Vizelle Street area by between Ross Street. Yes, between Ross Street and University Drive. The problem there is that they have 3 soccer pedestrian signs, and that's just in 3 meters apart from each other. So obviously something had to be done, and there are problems here. I stopped by that area many times during the week, and I've noticed that many times cars have to back up, or there's just confusion as to who's going to go, the pedestrian or the car. So the best way to address this is to replace one of the stop signs, stop for pedestrian signs with the stop sign, and the area suggested is an area that already has stop signs on both sides. That would be Poto Street, and adding on Vizelle Street 2 stop signs, which would make it a 4-way stop, and leaving the 2 other soccer pedestrian signs, but replacing the one nearest to Ross Street and placing them in front of the stop signs that they have there. So it would be safer to cross that in the crosswalk, and they will close the curve in. I make a motion to extend time by a minute.
You can do that, yeah. Seconded. Motion's been made to extend presentation time by 1 minute. Been seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You're extended for 1 minute.
Thank you. The crosswalk that is in the middle of this street would be left there so that students can get off and on the bus stop area there. But they will close the curve because it is often used as a drop-off area for students, and that's not what's supposed to happen. So this would further enforce that rule there. And this is again in recommendations by a study by the engineering firm. It is a trusted firm. This is the one that Transportation Services goes to every time we study an area. And I ask for your support in making this area safer for students, both pedestrians and drivers. Thank you.
And let's have a ring tap for Senator Smith. Okay, with that, we'll move to a 2-minute period question and answer. Do I see a question, Senator Spencer?
Jonathan Spencer, College of Engineering. I was just wondering if you were aware that they're actually already putting the stop signs in. They've got the poles, the signs, and kind of just wondering if you were aware of that.
Senator, I met with Transportation Services, and they haven't decided on this plan yet. And if they already began the construction of this, they still said that they would come to SGA because it is one of their constituencies, and ask for our say in this, and that's why it goes to bill.
All right, thank you.
Further questions? Going once, going twice, seeing none, Chair will refer this to the Student Services Committee. With that, we will move to presentation on SB 6429, Spence Lewis safety.
Howdy.
Howdy.
SB 6429 again is designed to make this area specified here, Spence Street and Lewis intersection safer. Again, the problem here is that they have stock pedestrian signs, and there is conflict, especially at night when students are crossing this road, because cars are constantly having trouble sharing the road with pedestrians there and understanding whether they have the right way. But clearly we know that the right way is to students, but there's a lot of confusion in this area. It is already being studied by the transportation services at the request of the concern, and I believe that it's clear that adding a stop sign in this area, which is Lewis Street, which extends from Coke Street to DeSalle Street. It's a long road there that does not have any stop signs, so there has to be a safe area in that street for students to get across to the other side. And there is a parking lot that would be parking lot Point B, which increases the flow of traffic in the area, and students have to get across safely. I am representing the Southside Caucus. This is part of the Southside campus, and the concerns were brought up to me because I am the representative, and I ask for your support on this bill again.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. With that, moving to for your question and answer. Chair will see any questions. Going once, going twice. Seeing none, Chair will refer this bill to the Student Services Committee. Next up, sit tight. We have SB 6430, SGA Constitution Modernization Amendment. Without objection, we'll consider this bill as read. And we will go into.
He's joking about it.
I better be a joke. With that, since this is new business, we have a 5-minute. It should be 5 minutes for new business. We can make a motion. New business is 5 minutes. That's in our bylaws. So, is it a motion? No, 5 minutes. Okay. All right. Thanks.
I feel like welcome to the gun show. Howdy.
Howdy.
All right. This is our Constitution Amendment. Can we bring up our PowerPoint presentation, which is on the front of the desktop? It should be right there. Front of the desktop. It has sides, but where did that go? No, it was called the. I was thinking you said how to. No, I didn't.
Mr. Speaker, I move for a 1-minute recess while we load the presentation.
How about everyone just takes a long breath while we find it? Can we do that? No. Just everybody sit tight.
Why is it doing that?
Yeah. How about that conference? Oh, you just did.
I didn't even know. Would you mind coming over the
Okay, please return to order. We're ready. Senate, please return to order.
Howdy.
All right, excellent. All right, first and foremost, SB 6430 is a comprehensive amendment of the entire Student Government Association Constitution. First off, why are we doing this? We want to do 3 primary things. First, we want to have common language throughout the Constitution. The key thing to remember is that the last time that this document had a massive overhaul was in 1972. We've had 39 years of constant amendments here and there and everywhere, and we have language that doesn't compute, basically. An example of that, common definitions in Article 1. We also want to reduce ambiguity in the Constitution. So what does that mean? The current Constitution has some phrases that can be construed 1 of 2 or 3 ways. And that creates a lot of uncertainty for us. For example, the term member of the judicial court was used recently to basically make our Chief Justice be appointed forever. And that was a problem because that had never happened before, as far as I knew. Also, we wanted to clarify whether referendums expired. We've had people in the 60-second session come up and say, hey, this referendum from about 2 years ago, it should be still binding, right? We don't have an answer to that. Next slide. Lastly, we also want to ensure a proper balance of power. What does that mean? Well, while we're at it, while we're in there and we're amending this entire thing, we want to clarify and clear up some issues that have been present. I would say, looking back at the archives since about 1991. For example, the Constitution basically should vest 3 different types of powers and 3 different types of branches. Legislative powers in the legislative branch, judicial powers, judicial, etc. You know that concept. Our current Constitution, on the other hand, arguably from our perspective, doesn't do that. And so a lot of these minor changes achieve that balance. We're going to discuss those on the next slides come up here in a second.
Also, the good news is when we talk about balanced power, we don't just mean all Senate all the time. We actually do mean there's going to be some more power to the executive branch.
And these are 10% of the changes.
We go next slide. So how do we go about doing this? There have been many different versions. I know Cody's probably talked to a lot of you. He's talked to a lot of us. This is also one thing we want to stress. It's been going on for over a year in various conversations in RR and JPOR with various people. The main thing we want to get across here is that with both current, former students, executives, student presidents, all these different people, if you feel like there is something in this Constitution that is wrong or overlooked, come talk to us. We want to emphasize the amount of discussions that we've had on this topic, but that's not to discount the conversations that we need to have. So when this comes back up in a month, don't say, no one talked to me about this, or this is too big, or this is crazy, because it's a long time coming, and we want your input, so come find us.
All right, so we said 10% of the changes. Let's go through those real quickly. First and foremost, grade policy changes on page 23. Old system, each branch had its own additional grade policies. New system, SGA has a standard grade policy. What does that mean? SVP, senator, justice, everybody's a 2.0 for an undergrad and a 3.0 for a grad. We don't have to sit here and argue about additional grade requirements anymore. 2, creation and deletion of committees. Old system, SVP can create committees, and we confirm, and then he or she alone can scrap them at will. Did you know that? This new system basically says that the student senate is the one that creates and removes committees. The removal is checked by a 3/4 override, meaning that it's harder for us to remove committees than it is to have. That protects our current committees. It's a compromise. Also, we want to, basically protect ourselves from errant SVPs coming in and wiping out SGA with the stroke of a pen. Next slide.
Yeah, and again, we're going to change the way the bylaws are structured right now. Everyone has their own bylaws. We're going to make it more uniform. And that way, the executive orders don't get conflicted with the statutes. It's a little complicated. Talk to us if you're curious. What we will say, though, is Cody and I fully intend to sponsor statute legislation, sponsor statutes that give the authority to write your own bylaws to the individual branches. So, in effect, it will be the same way it is now, but that way, there's a clear hierarchy of statutes, bylaws.
The thing to remember is that at the next meeting, there will be a comprehensive statute change that's going to re-establish the status quo, basically, after this is over with. Okay? So in case you're afraid when you're looking through this with statutes mentioned in this document, we're going to fix that. We're going to cover it. Okay? All bases will be covered.
Okay, judicial court. Well, the way it used to be is 3 people would get in the room. They would say, okay, this is going to be our Chief Justice. Now it's going to be SVP is going to pick the Chief Justice, confirmed by Senate. Where have you seen this? America. Next slide.
Really quick on these changes, we're moving performance review and also giving the SBC line item budget. These are big changes. They shouldn't be too controversial. Come talk to us before if you have questions.
Next slide. All right. Students' power to amend the Constitution. We're giving them that power now. It's going to be very hard to do that, so don't worry. Nobody's going to freak out and go crazy on us. Students' rights. Currently in judicial court cases, it's unclear whether you have a right to fair process. That seems unfair, doesn't it? We're going to fix that. Also, we're going to give students the right to, among other things, be free of excessive fines, etc. Come talk to us. That's it. Can you kind of
read that?
Okay.
Or ask us about it.
Okay. First question goes. And I'll. That's State's point. Sure. Okay, yeah, so personal preference, Amanda has asked if you would please close your laptops. I'll say this. It's still 2 minutes. Oh, okay, you're right. Great.
I'm going to extend Q&A by up to 10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay.
Personal preference. I'm looking at the bill on my device.
Okay.
So do I have to close it? Like I'm reading the bill.
You don't have to do anything for points of personal department. Amanda expressed concern to me, which I will echo, that it looked like, I mean, this is the most massive overhaul of the Constitution that's been done in almost 40 years, and it looked like some people were kind of not paying attention to the conversation, which is a bit disconcerting.
I made myself king of SGA, so first person to find it gets a prize.
But, everybody quiet. Everybody quiet. Big point. Yes, it was emailed out.
It's the 90-page one.
It's on the website.
Was the presentation emailed out?
The presentation, I'm sorry, was the presentation emailed out? It can be momentarily. Thank you. Chris. What?
This is new business, so we'll go to committee, right?
It will go to committee, that's correct. Okay, now, I'm sorry, a motion has also been made, it hasn't been seconded yet, to extend question, it's been seconded, to extend question and answer to a period of 15 minutes. It's been seconded, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Nay. Okay, I'm sure that fails. So, with that, we did, this bill was exempted from the change we made earlier, so 5 minutes for Q&A, beginning with Senator Mantry. Withdrawn. Okay. Chair Harris.
Question real quick about the line item deal. Is that for every bill that we pass?
No, it's only for the budget.
Okay.
So the SB can say you can't spend this, but no adding only subtract. Okay.
Yeah. And then they come back separately to be overturned at under the normal veto process.
But we
Okay. Further questions?
I have one more.
Sure, go ahead.
I know that y'all are probably not going to do this in case of 9A. It won't be considered one rules and regulations meeting to be kind of chopped up and passed out.
The plan is to keep it in committee for at least a month.
Yeah. And we're going to be having some open sessions where it's not necessarily just RR working on this inside a committee, where it's going to be more of a dialogue where folks can come in, talk to us, ask questions that they didn't get a chance to here, and then sit around for the RR meeting while we hash these things out.
And on the presentation, like email, Cody's got office hours as well, so
Okay,
say what's up.
so we'll know when you're voting on this section.
The only thing,
I'll call you personally.
the only thing we can do differently is sit down here and sing Kumbaya. We are available and willing to compromise, and we are over to just come talk to us.
Okay, Chair Barber.
Thomas made an interesting point that the four of you, or five, I apologize, specifically the four of you are working together on something is a feat in and of itself. So congratulations and thank you to everyone.
Point of information, is this the second time in this meeting I've been quoted? Make sure.
At least the second. At least. Do you ever refer that to Barbara?
I didn't quote you.
Well.
Anyway, on to the meat and potatoes of this deal. You guys are kind of taking it a different way in committee. Are you going to be voting out parts at a time? Did I miss that, or is it going to be? Does that make sense?
The actual, how we're actually going to be voting it out of the committee we haven't set up like, okay, we're not going to move on to, Act 2 until we pass Act 1. Things like that haven't been, necessarily, like, that process hasn't been set up inside of our committee because we haven't talked about this bill inside of our committee yet. This is the first time it's being brought up. We'll get to see it this next week. So as far as that goes, it's going to be in committee for a while. How we pass it out of committee will be dependent on the committee's, how they like to see it.
Yeah, and I guess to add to that really quickly, nothing about the committee process is set in stone until it's passed out of committee. So, and that won't happen for at least 3 years.
The intention though is for this to be one big bill. We can't vote on this piecemeal. It's 30 pages. I'm sorry, we have to do that because if you vote one article and not the other, you destroy the whole system.
So just think about it, only one more RR bill, right? Instead of like 30 RR.
It's also my intention for this to hopefully be the last constitutional amendment, if that is possible.
Ever.
And I'll throw in 2 cents here because I've talked about this before. If the question were divided in committee and say they only passed section 1 or whatever, I would consider the bill passed out of committee when all of the sections had been passed out. So if that were to happen and something was to be passed out, we won't consider one part of it on the floor. Chairman Dunn, you have a question? Okay. Further questions? Further questions? Going once, going twice. Seeing none, Chair will close the question and answer, and we'll refer this to the Rules and Regulations Committee. Next up, SB 6431, the on-campus employment to the financial aid bill. 2 minutes starting Howdy.
This one is a little easier. This one, the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board sets a number for your EFC. For those who speak that are FAFSA, your EFC is your expected family contribution. Anyone with a 4,000 or under is put in priority status to receive financial aid from the university. And then anyone in that priority group, on top of the academic standards they have to meet, is served on a first-come, first-served basis. Since the financial aid and a lot of our assistance and scholarships were cut this past year, there's a lot less money to distribute to students. So this one just asks that the Higher Education Coordinating Board lower the priority number from 4,000 to 2,000 to better serve the students in need, and then the money that's left over remaining from that be distributed to those rest of the students on a first-come, first-served basis.
Okay. And then real quick, before we go to questions, I need to clarify. Apparently, I might have said Constitution Modernization Amendment to AA. I meant RR if I said AA. Okay, I guess I said RR. Just wanted to clarify, make sure I didn't make a mistake. Okay. With that, questions for the bill author on financial aid bill? Chair Barber, is that a question?
Chris, you couldn't think of a more fitting title for that than the financial aid?
I'm hoping in committee we have some smart people who can help out. I got tired.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Further questions? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Why was 2,000 chosen?
It was a middle number. I'm definitely open to other ideas. Once it gets to committee, I think it's definitely something to discuss. I know Bryce Bender is looking into getting some numbers from financial aid to see how many students would fall in those categories. Then once we're in committee, I think we can decide on a better number to serve the students who are really in need and have money left over to serve other students as well.
Okay. Further questions? Going once, going twice. Seeing none, Chair will refer this to the legislative. It's legislative relations still? LA. Sorry. Okay. To the LA committee. With that, SB 6433, the International Diversity Credit Bill.
We passed this bill last session, but they were not taking action on the Core Curriculum Council. They're going to start moving again in November, so this change can actually go into effect. And it just asks that they reconsider the courses that are considered for ICD credit. There's a lot of courses that touch on international and cultural diversity that are not considered for the ICD credit. So a lot of students have trouble finding them. They can delay graduation for some students. And then that they make the standards that they use to determine which classes get that qualification available to the public.
Okay. Sorry, where was that presentation? Right. Questions for the bill author? Going once, going twice, seeing none. Chair will refer this to the Academic Affairs Committee. Next up, SB 6434, New Student Conference Voter Registration Initiative Bill. 2 minutes starting in Howdy.
Howdy. This is the bill that would ask the New Student Conference people to put voter registration cards inside of the packets that they distribute to the freshmen. And possibly, I think we're going to talk about in committee, getting a group of people, if not the people who put on New Student Conferences, but someone from the student government to be deputized and sit there throughout the conferences and be able to collect those from the students. So it doesn't just become a piece of paper that goes home with them, but it's something that can be collected right there and then and make an impact here.
Okay. No questions. All right. First up, Senator Riley.
Jake Riley, College of Life Sciences. Didn't we pass someone to like this last year?
So it passed, and the reason we're not renewing it is because we're considering adding that aspect of having students there at the New Student Conferences. So figuring out whether that's going to be a responsibility of the group that puts on the New Student Conferences or student government or another group that wants to take it over. So figuring that out in committee before we bring it back up. So just adding a different aspect to it.
Great call. Sure. Who was the burden on in the last bill?
It's on the New Student Conferences.
I can't tell you who the burden was on the bill, but I can tell you specifically that Bryce took care of that. Vendor, VP of LR took care of that specifically at the beginning of this year. That was one of the main initiatives, and he succeeded in that. So that was Bryce's group.
Okay, Senator Putnam.
Mark Lovely off campus. My question is for Senator Van Dyne. Matt, heavily involved in AOLP over your course of time at A&M. Do you think that will be something that could be worked in in your opinion, into an AOP presentation or something like that to really hit everybody at the same time?
Yeah, it would be real easy, and I think one of the easiest ways would be just put a little voter registration card in that bag they give you. I've packed thousands of those bags, and it wouldn't be any skin off my back to put another piece of paper in that bag. But also, I mean, there are a bunch of like little optional programs that all students and their families have to go to. I'm sure it would be not a problem at all to put a presentation together.
Perfect. Thank you.
20 seconds, Senator Womack.
Hi, Mark Womack on campus. Just so you're aware, and this is phrasing the question, did you know that registered voter people, they can't take those mailable cards. They can only sign people up with like a handy dandy notebook. So I don't want to break into like election laws, right?
Very aware. I almost got a call from the DA about that.
You did
Almost. Please finish your sentence.
We would look to have both the deputy voters there to encourage that. The deputy voter registrar is there to with their packets as well to take care of that. But yes, I am aware. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So with that, we'll refer this to community relations. Next up, SB 6435, Memorial Student Center Accessibility Act.
Great job. Great job.
2 minutes starting now.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Just real quick, there has been rumors and loose reports about some pretty extreme fees for using MSC rooms for student organizations. I know that I'm a member of Beta Epsilon Chi Christian Fraternity, and we used to be the MSC. There's a rumor that we're going to have to pay a lot of money to meet there again. And so this is just a bill being proactive to open the conversation, make sure that students are represented in this discussion. Any questions?
All right, Senator Roberts.
Senator Roberts off campus. So you wrote a bill off of rumor. What research have y'all done that this is
I worded that loosely, I'm sorry, but.
Well, I mean, this is being proactive, and it's not just a rumor. I mean, there's already been a draft release of a possible price schedule. I say a release, meaning that some people have it already. It hasn't been officially released, so we don't want that being spread around because it is a draft. But also, if this bill were passed and no room rates were charged, and the MSC never did charge a room rate, then it would basically do nothing. It would just be entered into the code, and it would say that if they ever did do that, then we would oppose it. But it's not, it doesn't require any action if the room rates are zero. It's just a standing policy that as long as we're paying a fee for the MSC, rooms should be available for student organizations to use.
Peyton, I promise you, if we wait, we won't have it.
Okay, Senator Thornburg. I'm sorry, does that complete it?
Yeah, I didn't really answer the question. The question was, what research have you done to prove that this?
That wasn't your question. Your question was, or why are you basing one off of a rumor? But we can answer that.
Yeah. And, like I said before, those fee schedules have been